Hi, Olivia. Can you request to join my live dawn? Oh, here we go. Oh, woo!
There it is. Tarloke!
Hey!
Hey!
I'll say it again. Looking like you're 25.
Oh my God. Thank you
Amazing.
so much. I feel 25 actually, I do.
Oh,
I think I have to turn the camera.
you're now
Oh
up
no, I'm upside
down.
down. Oh
You're
no.
there. You're there in the right position at the moment. This is so. I was just saying to people before. This is just like the coolest thing ever.
Oh my God. You have been, I have to say, you've been were you on the En Vogue craze, right? You were on the craze for a while. You're
The
on the craze?
the website, the
The
YouTube.
En Vogue craze is like a page.
I have never actually been on it. Not until today. Uh,
Okay.
I went all over I was just looking at the different interviews, and I could see all of yours and watched a few snippets here and there just to see what it's all about. As you mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, they can be really kind of one-sided. And I left the site because, they were all about Cindy and Terry, and they would put Maxine and I down all the time. And I was like, I'm not going to be a part of this negativity. So Max was like, she left a long time ago, and I was still trying to stay on and be kind to them, and they were just not. So I just recently unfollowed them.
Uh,
But I thought you were on there too, and I was going to say you've always been, whether you were on there or not, you've always been really, really, you've been for the group. And when you see wrong, you say wrong. You know what I mean? In other words, if you
yeah.
see that something is wrong, then you speak on it. You're not ever, oh, I just love Cindy and Terry no matter what. En Vogue this. It's like, no, you love Maxine and you love me as well. And you've
Well,
always been kind that way.
well, with some people, it tends to be one or the other, one set or the other. It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
Mm-hmm.
ride hard for Terry and
Yes.
but then they're like, well, Dawn's done this, Dawn's done that, and then the other side are like, well, Terry's done this, Terry's done that. So I don't ever take sides. But
Yeah,
to, to,
exactly.
to the person that commented, it looks like that's Terry over my shoulder on the screen behind me. It is.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, Tarloke. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's a plan to that. I'm going to ask you about that. Remember that I mentioned the interview that I saw on YouTube of when you were in Tokyo for the 20th anniversary tour.
Yeah.
I found a little video, and I mentioned body language. It's something I wanted to ask you. I was going to play it
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
Sort of give.
So wait a minute. So you are a Terry fan because you have Terry behind your shoulder. What about Maxine? What about Cindy? What about me? Oh my gosh, Charlie.
Don't be,
I'm,
don't be shady. Don't be
I'm
shady.
totally messing with you. Yeah, but we're not up there though, so there's not shade. It's not shade.
No. But yeah, it's there is a reason for that. I like all the ladies. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't have an opinion on Rona because I don't know Rona.
Right, of course.
And I think Amanda Cole was in En Vogue for 3 years or something like that too. But
She was in for a year. It was just one project that they did, a couple of years actually.
yeah. So, shall we go right into it?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
And if anyone wants to ask a question or anything, just drop it in the chat. I tagged people. I even tagged En Vogue in it. I doubt they're going to join, but you never
Oh my God, that's cool.
you never know. But
That's cool.
so I've researched. Obviously, you've done my research. We had that conversation the other day, and really just like to know what life was like before you got to the audition, because there's not so much online about your family life, like how you grew up and things like that.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. It was really cool before I got into the group. I was just a kid. I was just coming out of high school. I had been graduated for about 3 years by the time I got to En Vogue. So it was, odd jobs here and there. I tried to go to community college to figure out what I wanted to do with my life because my mom was on my back, like, you have to get a skill. Take one of these newfound computer things. It's classes that they got, and I was like, nobody cares about computers. It was just not a thing yet. Computers were not what they are today. And so I was just like, Mom. So I took a computer class with my best friend. We hated it. She went back for a second class. I only went to one, and I was like, no, I'm going to be a star, okay? I'm going to be a singer. And I kept telling her that, and she didn't want to hear it. She's like, you got to get a skill. You have to have something to fall back on. So yeah, it was just getting odd jobs and stuff like that at first. And then I started singing in clubs. I was a little too young to sing in the club. So, you know, if you're 17 years old, you can't be in a club because the club will get their license taken.
Yeah.
You got to be really careful. Yeah. So my mom and stepdad would drive me to San Francisco, and we'd do shows, and I would have to come in through the back door or through the basement to the club and wait until the show started, and then get on stage at that point. And then go back downstairs to leave. I couldn't go through the front door because they weren't taking a chance at all. Yeah, they're liquor license. So
what was your vibe? You know, what was did you have like a standard like song or genre, or did you?
Well, I was doing top 40, so I was doing, you know, My Sugar Walls by
Oh,
oh yeah, exactly. I didn't even know what that was about. Oh my god.
No, I don't. It's probably
16.
Yeah.
Yeah. By Sheena Easton. You know, I was doing Little Red Corvette by Prince, and everything that was top 40 at that time, I was doing it. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I was doing a lot of pop stuff. It was fun. Yeah.
See how that would fit in. That one definitely fits into your range.
Exactly. She's so fun. I love Cyndi. So that was it. I was just odds and ends jobs that I had. One point I was when we got into En Vogue, I ended up quitting my job.
Okay.
And our producers were like, no, you don't quit your jobs. Everybody did. Cindy quit hers, and Maxine, and we were kind of like, okay, so now we're stars. And they were like, no, we got to record the album. And we have a lot to do before we get to the point where you can quit your job. So I had to go and find a little job, and I found a job at a grocery store. I didn't have any skills, you know what I mean? I hadn't gone to college, so I wasn't a career woman. And I went and got odd jobs. So grocery store, check girl, and I was bagging groceries actually. But everybody at the grocery store knew that I could sing, and I was telling them we're going to be in this group, and we're going to be stars, we're going to be famous. And this one girl hated me because her boyfriend, yeah, he had a crush, but I didn't know. I was a kid. I think he was 20.
Yeah.
And I was 16, or I'm sorry, 19. And by the time I went to the audition for En Vogue, I was 20. And then when we came out, I was 21. So I was 20 years old, and he was older than me, and I just kind of felt like, okay, I didn't see the interest at all. Until one day, his girlfriend was like, oh, so you're the singer.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
yeah. I was so innocent. I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just say Tyrone. Did Tyrone tell you? She's like, yeah, he told me a little too much.
Oh, ouch. Oh, dear.
And that I knew. Then I was like, okay. So I remember one day before I left, I finally quit because we were actually coming out with the album. And she knocked over, I think she did it on purpose, but she knocked over a huge industrial glass bottle of syrup. She knocked it over, yes. And
not on you.
No, not on me, onto the floor. But it was it might as well have been on me, because one of the other baggers, he went and got the mop and everything in the bucket of water to clean it up, and she said, no, I want Dawn to come clean this up.
Oh.
Okay, I've been hated on. That was so long. It was crazy. That was one of the little stories before En Vogue happened.
So when you...
Now she probably tells everybody, oh my God, we were best friends.
Oh yeah, she'll probably say, yeah, she was my friend.
She was my BFF.
I have to give a shout out. When my housemate mates found out that I was doing this, I had the usual like, how did you get that? How did you do that? Like,
oh, that's so cool.
And do you know what came to my mind? And I was just, this is just like purely a joke. There's this song. Maybe I should sing the first couple of lines to you. What do you reckon?
Sing it.
I'm not a singer, so bear that in mind. But,
that's okay. I'll sing with you if I know it.
Like, why is everybody so envious? You know that
envy never dies. Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Yes. He's envious of you, huh?
Yeah, and no, they were just really supportive, and I have to credit my stylist Miguel. It's not.
Yay! Oh, Miguel.
Mate, He's like,
That's so cool.
you got to dress up, you got to do your hair nice, and it's right. So when you're facing royalty, the Queen.
Oh my
you
God! Well,
have
thanks,
to.
you guys. Wow, I feel the same. You're royalty too to me.
Oh, sure. So when we think of auditions, like you've seen all the shows, X Factor, American Idol,
I'm
America's
gonna go over here.
Got Talent, all of that.
I'm listening.
So we think of the craziness of those kind of auditions. So whenever everyone says, I've gone for an audition, we imagine that. So what was your audition for En Vogue actually like, and how did you hear about it?
The audition for En Vogue was really, sorry, hold on. It was actually really easy. There wasn't a cattle call. It was only the four of us. And, you know, it wasn't what you typically think. Like, it wasn't catty. It wasn't competitive. It was very supportive. You know, when I first got there, I think Cindy was first. She's always on time, always first. And when I got there, I met her, and then Maxine came in next. And I was like, okay, you look familiar. And she said the same thing to me, and we talked a little bit, and she met everybody else, and she's like, I'm so nervous. So when we were sitting there talking, I was like, what do I know you from? Did you used to do my hair? And she's like, well, I do hair. Did you ever get your hair braided? And I was like, no. And then she said, okay, so you must have come into the hair salon that I worked at, because Maxine was doing hair at the time. She's an amazing braider. Maxine can literally, if you want the shape of a rose in your hair, she can braid that. If you want a basket, like what they called basket weave back then, or you want any kind of shape you can think of in your hair, Maxine can make that happen with braids.
Wow.
She's amazing, yeah. And it's true. One time I was in the hair salon, and the owner of the hair salon found out that I could sing. And he went to Maxine, and he was like, hold on, so this girl's saying that she could sing. I want y'all to sing something together.
Oh, okay.
And we did. And to this day, we argue about what that song was. I thought it was Don't Let It Go to Your Head by Jean Carn. Or Maxine thinks it's that. And I thought it was If You Play Your Cards Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot who that's by. Gwen Guthrie or one of those. Yeah, so we can't figure it out to this day, but that's how we met first. So when I got to the audition, she's the second person that I met. And then Terry didn't come to the audition till later because she had bad weather coming out of Houston, Texas.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't meet her until later, but we had laid down the background vocals. Well, sorry, I digress. So your question. You're the one asking me questions. I'm not I'll go on and on and on with story after story if you don't stop me.
No, that's fine. No, did you first audition as an individual? Then did they pick groups to sing together to test out how the voices blended, or
no? Actually,
the girls.
Actually, what they did was each of us auditioned. There was another girl there named Jordana, and she was actually Maxine's roommate.
Oh.
Exactly. And Maxine said that she started getting dressed early in the day. She's like, where are you going today? It was a Saturday. And she said, where are you going? And she said, oh, I'm going to I think she said, I'm going to an audition. And then Ken, her manager, called Maxine and said he found out that there was an audition. Do you want to go today? So it happened to be that she was going to the same place as Jordana, her roommate. Right. But her roommate didn't tell her, oh, this is an audition. You should come with me. Maxine just ended up there.
Right.
And when Jordana got there, I want to say Maxine came by herself. And then Jordana came a little bit later, maybe an hour after Maxine. And we had already... So, in other words, she didn't tell her about the audition, which was kind of dirty, because we lived together. You're a singer, I'm a singer, let's go together. I would have done that, but she didn't do that. But she was really nasty when she got there. Jordana was like, hey, what's up? Y'all don't have no beer? Like, where's the food? She was really messy, really I was like, okay, she is not getting in the group. Because you could tell that the producers were kind of like, what's up with her? Like, she was just like too... Wow. Yeah, too assertive and way too presumptuous about food and beer.
Well, she hadn't paid her dues yet.
Huh?
She hadn't paid her dues yet. You know.
Well, not only that, even as 30 years in the business, I wouldn't walk into someone's studio and be like, right now, be like, where's the beer? Where's the food? Y'all aren't going to feed me? It's just a nasty kind of place to come from. So even now, as a celebrity, I could ask for those things. Asking and demanding are two different, things. And the way that she put it was like, whoa. So I just thought, she's not going to make it. Plus she drinks. Like, what are you showing? This is your interview to get into a girl group. Absolutely. And so with any boss, you're not going to walk into your boss's office, your potential boss's office, and say, hey, what's up? You don't have no food? Where's the beer? Like, you wouldn't do that. So why do that to the producers just because it's the studio? And she didn't have the tact. There's a tactful way, or the classy way to say, hey guys,
I wouldn't get all liquored up before a job interview either.
And that too, that's what I'm saying. It's like she showed us that she's a drinker. Like, who wants to be in a group like that? She's going to be like drinking on the road and all kinds of stuff.
That's probably going to send alarm bells out to the producers that were.
Thank you. Yes, and to us as well as a group. Like, I don't want to be on the tour bus with her. I don't want to, Anyway.
I have to admit, I did have a beer about an hour ago, though. But having a beer at home is totally different, Tarloke, though. That's okay with you. And in fact, my mom was like, why don't you take a glass of wine in there with you? I'm like, Mom, it is only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I am not going to sit here with a glass of wine at 1 o'clock. You're not a day drinker then.
Not a day drinker, not much of a drinker even at night, but every now and then with friends, I'll have a glass of wine, a couple of sips. I'm very lightweight.
Very lightweight.
Very lightweight.
So when you found out, obviously before the audition, when you found out you were going to be in the group, did you have any sort of idea or presumptions about what things were going to be like, about what fame would be like, what the industry would be like? Did you have any sort of clue, or did you just sort of think, I'm going to be a star, it's going to be like, amazing, and we're going to do that,
We didn't. I didn't have any kind. I can't speak for the rest of them, but just talking over the years, I don't think we had a presumption. We did presume. I presumed, and even from conversations with them, I could say they presumed as well that once you sign a contract, you're rich. You're going to be a star. You're a star. I don't know why I thought instantly things were going to happen for me, but I just thought it was going to be, you put out an album, you have a hit, you're going to be rich.
Yeah, and that's what you'd assume, yeah.
Well, typically, that's what happens when you look at Beyonce, when you look at Taylor Swift, right? When you look at, Garth Brooks or Michael Jackson, all of those people were rich once they had hits, So it wasn't far-fetched to think that way. What'd you say?
No, I was just going to say, that's what you'd assume. You assume, fame, equates with money and fortune. And most of the time that's right, if you have the right deal. We'll talk about that in a little while, though. That's
exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said to you the other day, I watched the Born to Sing music videos the other day. I'd already seen Hold On when it was originally released. And I remember seeing that. I think you performed it on Top of the Pops.
Yes, we
I'm
did.
Pretty sure that you did. And
we did.
You had those black dresses on. So did you sort of get a say in what you wore in the videos? Was that sort of discussed in meetings, or did they just say, here you go, put that on?
They basically said, put this on, but we didn't know any better. We had no idea. We weren't, and I always say this, we were not en vogue yet. We weren't polished enough yet. No, we had a long way to go. Luckily, the record company hired a team of people to do our album cover. And once those people did our album cover, we had an amazing, we could tell, even back then, we knew right away who the stars were on our team, as far as our glam squad. Our makeup artist, Roberto Leon, God rest his soul. Actually, he was our hair person. So he was a hair guru. He was a master at hair. And it's hard to this day. I think we put ourselves in a box because we called ourselves after a magazine. And Vogue is after Vogue magazine. Yeah. So we kind of put ourselves in a box because we always have to look the part. We always have to be, fabulous. We always have to have a team of people, and that costs a lot of money. So most of our money went to paying our team, our stylist. So Roberto, from the very first team, when we did our first video, our first photo shoot, Roberto was the one who stood out. We could tell that he kind of had a knowledge of things that the stylists and the makeup artists did not have.
Yeah.
And they told us to bring, because we didn't have a big budget. It's like we had probably $1,000, you know, for clothing. Oh, they didn't give, because they didn't know us. They didn't want to put a lot of money. Yeah, they didn't want to invest in us because they didn't know if we were going to be able to pay them back.
Somebody's asking, did Maxine do your hair?
No, she didn't.
No, somebody said, did Ms. Maxine do your hair?
No, she didn't. One time she did, a couple times actually, but not for the videos and not today. I just put it up just now because I had it in a ponytail. But so she was always tired of doing hair. I mean, she's a star. She didn't want to do hair anymore. So if anybody's hair, she did mine a couple of times because I was like, Max, I need your help. It's horrible. My hair was terrible. I got this awful weave and it was just bad. Now I wear my own hair, but I had gotten this really bad weave and I didn't know how to get it out and it was terrible. It was too frizzy and she just helped me. Come on, whatever. She'd take my head and throw it around. I'm like, Max, oh my God.
Oh no. I have
because she was pissed off. She had to spend her off day fixing my hair. It was always that. I was always giving her the blues. So I digress. So when we got to the photo shoot for our very first photo shoot ever, they only had a few little outfits for us, and you know, we tried some stuff on. We took some photos, but when I look back at them now, I'm like, oh my God, we were so green. We look like a girl group, a local, never made it, you know, wannabe En Vogue. We were so not that at first because we were new. We didn't know anything about fashion. And Roberto kept saying, honey, your makeup artist is tired. Oh. Honey, yeah, he's like, you guys, you have the worst stylist. Oh my God, so terrible. He was like, so, I was like, Roberto, no, we love her. Maxine didn't like the makeup artist at first because she didn't like her makeup. But the rest of us were like, I think I look great. And we look like clowns. We look terrible. She wasn't good. She wasn't that good. And so Roberto said, after we did the photo shoot for the cover of Born to Sing, those little church suits that we wore, we went with some guy. I want to say that he was the makeup artist, the second makeup artist we had. And he took us down to the alley in Los Angeles. There's a place called the Alley.
Okay.
And that's where you get really cheap clothes. That's where, you know, if you have $100, you can get like a whole wardrobe of stuff because it's so cheap down there. It's super cheap. On that budget, like $100, and you get like 12 suits and 16 skirts and 18 pairs of jeans and 17,000 t-shirts. It's, yeah. And we went down there and we picked up those church suits. They had the sheer see-through sleeves. And it was just terrible. So Roberta was like, oh my God. He was so over us. Why did you guys pick that? And we're like, well, we didn't know any better. And he said, look, I want you guys to meet my makeup artist. He told us on the photo shoot, the day of the photo shoot for the album cover. I have a makeup artist. He's homeless, but he's a kid, and he's really, and we were like, wait, homeless? He said, yes, he's homeless. He sleeps on his friend's couches. He's trying to figure out his life right now. But he's amazing. You guys need to use him. He's incredible. And sure enough, he had him come to our hotel in LA, and he did our hair, our makeup, and we were like, oh my God. So what happened was Roberto kind of tweaked our look. He polished us up and gave us our En Vogue look. He made us, because before we had Roberto, we didn't fit our look. Right. Our look didn't fit, I should say, our look didn't fit the name En Vogue at all. Right. And he's the one who kind of like said, nope, you need to get this. You need this person. You need to have Danny Flynn come in and do your clothes. Like, he brought in the whole team to make En Vogue what it was. So by the time we got to Funky Divas, you can see the difference. Well,
you think of, I guess you think of Vogue magazine, high fashion.
Yes, yeah. We weren't fitting that. We weren't befitting of our name before Roberto brought all these incredible people in. So he really shaped and molded what we became as En Vogue, you know? Thank God for him.
Somebody is asking, what kind of makeup did you use? Was it MAC or Fashion Fair?
Right now, or
No,
Back
I went back then. I don't suppose you'd remember that from.
Oh, back in, oh
30
yeah,
years
we
ago.
used a lot. We used a lot of Mac. And I was telling the girls that we need to do a Mac, like when we would do Arsenio Hall. We did Arsenio
Yes,
Hall 5 times, maybe 5 or 6 times.
I remember that interview.
Exactly. And one of the fan mail that we would get, literally people would write letters back then because there was no social media. And they asked Maxine, what color did you wear? What color lipstick did you have on when you guys did? What did we do? I think we went on Arsenio. We did. What did we do? Was it Lies? I think it was Lies because I did the wrap that day. And we had on these burgundy suits, and our lipstick was so beautiful to match the burgundy in our clothes. And I was like, you guys, why don't we start our own lipstick line? Like, why don't, if you're telling the fans that you're wearing MAC, why don't we go to MAC Makeup and tell them that we want them to do a lipstick for Cindy, a lipstick for Maxine, a lipstick for Terry, a lipstick for Dawn. Our own lipstick with them. Like, we're promoting them, but we're not getting paid for them by them.
No.
So why don't we go to them and say, hey, why don't we start our own, you know, lipstick line? And by the time we got to the Funky Divas album, I was like, why don't we do a lipstick line called Diva? So Terry can have her own Diva line, you know, or Maxine, each of us can have. And they were like, no, it's too much work. And what happened, I think it was Elton John. No, it was RuPaul did the first Diva line with MAC. And then Lady Gaga, and then Elton John. All of them did Diva. Are you kidding me? We could have done our own Diva line. Like, so that frustrates me because we're giving everybody else homage, and they're making all the money, you know?
Yeah.
Even today I have on MAC.
I have no idea. I've asked the viewers what they think. I have no idea about makeup.
Oh, no, I didn't say you. I said even today I have on MAC. I have MAC on is what I'm saying. My point is,
right, okay.
yes, exactly. Yeah, it's called Film Noir. But again, I'm giving them the props and I'm not getting paid. So that's what I was telling the girls. We need to have our own line. We are the Funky Divas. We need our own Funky Divas line.
Well, I remember a few years ago, there was this band, a girl band in the UK called the Sugar Babes.
Sugar Babes, yes, I love them.
And I can't remember what shoe shop it was, but it was a national shoe shop chain. And they had a shoe line there, and they had posters and, you know, boards up in the windows and stuff. And that ran for, good year or so. And because they're friends. Oh, my friend Olivia says she loves your lipstick.
Thank you, Olivia. I see that. Thank you.
Tell her what shade it is. What
it's called Film Noir by MAC.
There you go.
And no, someone else above that said they don't ever listen to you, Miss Dawn. No, they don't. No, they do not. I think that's Aaliyah. Hey, Tanya. Hey.
Right. So, Gova365 was asking, how did they decide who would sing lead on which song? Because I know that part of the makeup of the group that Denzel, Foster, and Thomas McElroy wanted was they had to be all the members had to be beautiful.
Right.
All had to be intelligent, and you all had to sing. So anyone could lead. So how did they decide on that? Like who would sing which parts?
Which parts? Basically, we had similar voices, so it was a little bit difficult. I think Cindy had the highest voice, so she had the first soprano, and her and Terry would split that area together. And then Maxine, I would do. I was mid soprano,
right? And
then Maxine was an alto. Hi, Anit.
Anita, my housemate's fiance.
Anita, hi.
Indonesian, cooks the most amazing food you could ever taste. If you visit Liverpool,
oh my! What does she cook? Does she cook like Indian food?
Indonesian food.
Really? Oh my gosh, you guys! I will come to your house. I swear to you, when I come to London, you have to come get me Tarloke, and I will come.
I live in Liverpool, not London.
Oh, you're in Liverpool. How far is that from London?
On the train about 2 hours.
2 hours, okay.
But you can come and stay. You can come and stay here. You know, you can.
Yes, because Liverpool is where the Beatles started. So I would love to see Abbey Road. I would love to go to the studio and just see it. You know. Yeah.
It always made when I first moved here. I first moved here in 2004. It made this is just any old place to me. This is just where I live. This is my home.
She said she'll send the food to London.
Yeah, send food to London, courier. Yeah. And I see the tour buses come by, and it would always make me laugh because it's just any old place to be. But obviously, it's
Exactly.
steeped in history. And
Yes, it is.
and I believe they're putting slavery markers around as well. So they're obviously now admitting the past in terms of, you know, the role in slavery and things like that.
Wow. Wow.
There's
Oh.
it's not pleasant, but it's a part of, you know, part of the history and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
Lots of different things have happened here. But anyway, back to the question. So
She asked me, oh, so the clothing. No, it wasn't the clothing. What was it? What were we talking about?
Well, it was going to be a new question, but
yes.
Well, so Born to Sing did fairly well for a first album.
Yes, Abbey Road. That's another person from my. I'm sorry. I'm just saying hello to people, Tarloke.
No worries, no worries. So it did quite well. It got to number 23 in the UK, which for an American R&B group, that is pretty tough to do.
It's very tough.
A lot of American groups don't make it here.
Right.
I remember a group called All for One.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
They were big in America, but they were not big at all here. They didn't have a single hit here.
Wow, really?
And that's very surprising because their harmonies are beautiful.
Exactly, they are. They have great voices together. I'm surprised by that.
I think it sold maybe, I couldn't get an exact figure, maybe 2 or 3 million or something like that. Maybe
wow.
Something like that. And I was remarking, remember we had that conversation the other day, and I was giving fashions, not because they were bad, it's just because they kind of brought me back a few days.
Right.
So you got it in the Lies video, and those polka dot skirts and bow ties.
Yes. For Lies you're talking about?
Yeah, Lies.
Yeah, exactly. We had the bowler hats.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be visually different because it was a black and white for the most part video, and so the stripes and the polka dots were supposed to be graphically mentally saying something to people. So they had I forgot what the director's idea of that was, but Lies and Deceit, you know what I mean, it was about that. So the look of the video was indicative of that message.
Did you
hey Sean,
somebody asked about the rap earlier. Did you ask to do the rap, or did they ask you to do the rap? Or
no, not initially, because in the video it's someone else. Her name is Debbie T. I wasn't a rapper. I wasn't a rapper. I wasn't trying to be a rapper, but because I was the youngest one in the group, Denzel Foster was like, well, Dawn, you do the rap for this and you do the rap for that. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, and you do the rap for our Silent Night, our Christmas song. And it just became that, you know. Yeah. Even when we went on Sesame Street, it's a television show here in America for children, I did the rap on that too. And it was like Adventure. That's the song. It's called Adventure.
And I remember
Silent Night.
I have to say, after listening or watching those videos, out of that, You Don't Have to Worry is my favorite song off that album.
Wow, really? Yeah.
It is. It wasn't a hit in the UK. We kind of, you kind of came along with Hold On, and then the next hit after that was You're Never Gonna Get It, My Lovin'. Sort of
well, it went from Hold On to Lies, and then You Don't Have to Worry, and You Don't Have to Worry and Lies were not hits. They were they charted, but they weren't #1 hits like Hold On.
Yeah, and you had these headsets on, you know, like ones that like
Lies.
I used to wear something very similar in a job when I was at the bank.
Really? Oh my gosh! Wow! Yes. Oh my gosh!
That kind of made me smile, and then I heard about your reaction to Don't Go. Because they wanted to. I'm not sure if it was the first verse that they wanted you to sing, but
no, the whole thing. The whole thing. We weren't splitting verses on that song, and I just couldn't do it because I was coming out of the church. I was a church girl. It was too risque for me. I was just like, oh my God, I can't sing about lay me down upon my bed and make me feel the heat of your body next to mine. I couldn't do it, Tarloke. So.
Thinking like, what was I'm gonna think if I sing that song? Like
exactly, what's my mom gonna think? You know? And if it's a single, are they gonna make me lay on the bed with some guy in the video? I'm not doing it. So I declined the song, and that quick, then it was like, okay, Terry, come sing it. And Terry went in there and sang it. I was like, did I miss out on an opportunity? But I love the video. I love the video. I love it. The part with us on stage, I think we look beautiful.
I mean,
really look pretty.
you ended up getting En Vogue's signature song.
Yes, Don't Let Go.
That everybody knows. I think that's the my 17-year-old niece. I think she knows that one, and that and I think Don't Mess with My Man are iconic. Like they're
wow.
I mean, Don't Mess with My Man I think has been remixed and
yes,
clubs and all sorts.
Somebody said Part of Me too. That is a great song. Part of Me is a great song too.
And I have
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay. A mark on Strange as well.
Strange. Oh my God, you're taking me way back. Now that was on the, that was on Denny and Tommy's album, and it was called. I see it in my mind. It was they put on an album as producers before they actually put En Vogue together.
Right.
But we were working on our first album. We were trying to come up with a name. We didn't have a name yet, so we did a song called Strange. That's the song that we did on their album, and then we did another song called Gotta Be a Better Way. No, that song we sang background for someone else. Gotta be a better way. And then we sang, I think we did another song on that album as well. But Waiting on You was the actual audition as well. That went on the first album. Born to Sing.
I don't know that song. Can you give us a line?
You haven't heard Born to Sing? You got to go on the Born to Sing album. And it's like after the last song on the album, you got to wait about a minute. And it comes in as a bonus track, and it's called "Waiting on You." You got to hear that, Tarloke. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
I thought it was very interesting on Strange that the rap appeared to be in a British accent.
Exactly. It really isn't clear what the story is, my dear. Oh my gosh, yes, it was that. we thought we were English. Okay, we thought we were British. We were not. Yeah, so they tried that. It was cute. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It sounded like I can't remember the name of the rapper, one of the British rappers around that sort of time period.
Really?
That would rap in that way.
Oh my gosh!
I actually thought it was very surprising when I heard it. I thought, I really like this. Is so cute. So
that's so cool. Because it's actually Cindy and Terry doing that part. They did it together. It was just them two, not Maxine and I. Who stood up for what, Sean? Sean's asking who stood up, my Dawn.
We will get that later.
Oh, somebody's saying Moni Love. Is it Moni Love that you're talking about, Tarloke?
I think
Moni Love.
Yeah,
Moni Love is yes, exactly. She did Moni in the middle. Where's she at? In the middle. Moni in the middle. Where's she at? In the middle. Yeah, and then she did Ladies First with Queen Latifah. Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. I forgot her part on that. It's fast though. It's in the middle. Yeah, she's cool.
So you also did a Diet Coke ad, which is
my God! No, don't even bring it up, Tarloke.
Sorry.
There are some things in life that we try to forget. And that was one of them. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Do we move on then?
No. I laugh at it now. But what I wish is that they would have really Diet Coke. It was cute because it was us, but it wasn't us. Like we just didn't look I know we would have picked different clothes today. We would have been hotter, sexier, and we didn't speak up too much because we had, the powers that be. The record company was telling us what to wear and how to look, and going back to Hold On, even about the dresses, thank God. The stylist asked us the night before, please bring clothes from home. Bring some stuff that you guys love to wear. And she was looking through our clothes like, okay, no, oh, no. Okay, all right, that's cute. So she had 3 other black dresses, and I bought a black dress from home. The black dress that I'm wearing in the video is the black dress that I used to go to clubs with my friends to go hang out.
Yeah.
I used to go clubbing in that dress. So you're looking at a dress that she was like, I have to fix it because it needed to be steamed. It was just, I had washed it several times, so it wasn't as black as it could be. So she dyed it black to match the other dresses.
So
Yeah,
you all thought you were cute until you got there and she told you all your clothes were
exactly. We were so not cute. Like I said, we weren't in Vogue yet. We had to be molded and shaped into the group that we became.
So,
You know?
the momentum was kind of, I guess, building and building and building. You were getting more and more opportunities. And I found something online, and I'm deadly serious when I say this. Like, I don't say this because you're in front of me. It's one of the best versions of the national anthem I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh, my goodness. Really,
Um,
Tarloke, thank you.
just for everyone's reference, I got the dates, April 19th, 91, Atlantic City.
Yes,
It was before the fight of Evander Holyfield versus George Freeman.
exactly.
And you had
Yes.
pink and yellow robes on.
Oh, it was bad.
And then I noticed in the back, right, this light of what's been going on at the moment. I was laughing my head off because the camera was panning around.
Yes.
And I could see right at the back, you were singing in Trump Plaza.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were. Oh my gosh, you saw that. You know, it's funny because a lot of the things that we did back then, I haven't even seen. Aaliyah runs the new page that she just came up with for En Vogue. And she's been like putting up videos and clips and photos that I haven't seen before because we were so busy. We were having to catch up with the success of Hold On. So we were around the world quickly. We came back after our promo tour and we toured America and then we went back overseas again. And when we came back, we had #1 hits and everything was moving so quickly that we didn't get to see a lot of the stuff that happened. So if it wasn't televised, it definitely, you know, my mom wouldn't have had it. But on VHS, she has as much as she could get back then. So a lot of the stuff I'm seeing for the first time. Pepsi, I saw the Coke commercial, but I didn't see that performance at Trump Towers.
Yeah.
And somebody recently we didn't love our outfits. We were trying to look like we were getting ready to box. So we wore the robes and we had on pink gloves. I think we did pink boxing gloves. It was super cute, but it just, if we'd have done a photo shoot, it was better. To perform in it was a little difficult. You know what I mean? So yeah.
How did
But
it
Trump
feel
Towers.
to have? How did it feel to have Muhammad Ali standing right behind you when you were performing?
Right.
Were you even aware of that? And
We were. We met him. We met him. We said hello. He was starting to. The dementia was kicking in. So Parkinson. I'm sorry. He had Parkinson's. So he was, you know, shaky, but it was still like being. It's like there's Jesus, there's God, and then there's Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Oh yeah. He's one of the most iconic. I quote him a lot because he had the mindset of law of attraction before we actually knew that that was a term.
right.
And he would talk about how great he was before the world even knew it. I am the great. He would say that I am the greatest, and we were like, "But who are you, Cassius Clay? We don't know who you are." Like he was just some kid who happened to become one of the greatest boxers in the world. So excuse the phone. Yeah, so we didn't know who he was, and he knew who he was before the world actually knew, and it was just amazing to hear him talk like that. It was just something that Black people especially had never heard, someone saying that they were great before the world actually knew that you were. He believed in himself that much.
Yeah.
He knew his worth that much. And I think that's amazing.
Did that kind of, in light of events that were about to happen in En Vogue, did that kind of inspire you in a way, the way that he was and the things that he said?
I didn't get it until I was older. So the early years of En Vogue, I didn't understand. I didn't see that. We were moving so fast and trying to catch up with our success that I didn't see it. Hello, somebody just came on. But I didn't understand the gravity of his words until now. Yeah. In the last 10 years, I've really quoted him and really watched and studied him much more because he had a law of attraction mindset. That is metaphysical thinking. He may not even have known that that's what he was doing. It was just innate in him, and he understood his worth way before anybody else did. You're not going to walk all over me. I am the greatest. I am this. I don't care who else. Sugar Ray Leonard, all these other people. I don't care. I am the greatest in the world. He would say it all the time. So, and he also talked about a lot of things where, you know, there was a great interview with him talking about how everything good in the world is supposedly white. Like, why are the clouds white clouds and white sugar and everything clean, white soap, and everything good is supposedly white and everything black? Devil's food cake. Angel food cake is white. Devil's food cake is black. Stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get into him in an even deeper way. Because of the state of our world and the state of our nation as America and what we're going through.
So I guess at that time we were all going into war, weren't we? Around that time in the
In the
Gulf.
70s, yeah, Vietnam War.
I'm talking about the 90s. In that around that sort of time period, there was the Gulf War. And
Oh, the Gulf War. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he was already, I think he was on his decline by the time we came out in Vogue. So his health was starting to fail him. Yeah.
So, like I said before, things were building, and you know your fame was getting bigger. And Anita was asking, how did that affect you? How were you able to adjust to that?
I'm sorry, Anita, to adjust to what?
The level of fame and being famous and.
You know, it's funny. It's like any other job, and I know it's funny to say that because it's like, no, your job is not known around the world. But because I sang in church, in a choir, I sang around the house all my life, and sang in the clubs, like I said, just before En Vogue took off. It was just natural for us to take that next step. Being over in London for the first time, it's like everything was such a culture shock. It's so different for us that we kind of like, I instantly took it as home. I can't explain why. I can't explain it. I just loved you guys don't take yourself so seriously in the UK. You laugh at yourselves a lot more than we do in America. And there's a sense of humor there that's different than here. So I instantly gravitated towards that. I gravitated towards the culture, and the nightlife was just everything. It was like fabulous. Even now, the last time I went over, it's like, let's go. Well, I couldn't the last time because I was sick. I had a cold really bad. No, the last time actually I had a meeting, and I went out there to meet with a manager who supposedly had all this stuff going on, and she really didn't. But but it was still nice to get a free trip to London because that is my second home. It's like, I don't know, the radio stations are open super late, and it's like the best radio stations are, the later it is, the better the radio stations, you know? All these underground stations and the underground itself, you know, the trains, and just London, I don't know. I love it. But you guys took to us, or I should say the UK took to us just as much as here in America. Yeah. With Lucy Pearl, it was a little bit different. I know you're going to get to that later, but just for the sake of this argument, we released, Hold On was global. Yeah. When Lucy Pearl released Dance Tonight, it was huge here in the States. It was really working well over here. But when we released it overseas, it wasn't so much. And then when we released Don't Mess With My Man over here in the States, exactly, it wasn't that big here. No one really loved it here in America, but overseas, oh my, it was like the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, it was top 20, it got to number 20 here, and that doesn't sound high, but
yes,
it lived on and on and on.
Exactly. Well, it was number one on MTV. Yes. So when we got to MTV, Madonna was number one for 3 or 4 months in a row, and we knocked her off the spot. Wow. The number one spot, Lucy Pearl did with Don't Mess With My Man. So that tells you how big one song can be in the region of a country, and then how big it can be in another region of a country. It's just amazing. You never know what's going to hit where. So listening to Hold On, it was thank you, Papian. See, couple of voices, just a couple of voices there, Cindy and Terry that we hear. So yeah. The next well, the background parts were all of us, but yeah, those two lead parts. The lead parts, yeah. You know, that part was Terry, yeah. And then Cindy sang the Hold On part. Yeah, I used to try doing that all the time. Did you? Yeah, in the car, driving in my car, that and Free Your Mind, and all of that. But then the next time I hear you,
doing a lead part. I remember tuning into Top of the Pops one Thursday, and it was the premiere of
Hey, Vaughn.
of my my lovin' kind of thing.
Yes.
I think we were at Soul Train. It had Soul Train in the background.
For my lovin'?
I think it's something like that. I may be wrong, but it was a satellite performance. You were somewhere else. You were in the States somewhere.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the video. I'm like, huh? Okay.
But then,
yes.
then the song comes on and you start singing. I'm like, what? Like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this singer that I've never?
Oh my God! So for the video, for the first time hearing.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to any of the Born to Sing songs at that point, apart from Hold On.
Yes.
So I hadn't heard you sing a lead until that point, and I was like, "Who's this? Who's this? Like, who's that?"
Wow!
Like,
oh my God! That's
amazing
so cool.
voice. Yeah, you were on the Soul Train stage.
Oh my goodness! Yes, yes.
And I was like, I've never heard a voice like this before.
Wow.
It was just like one of those, what? Like, what is that kind of thing?
Yeah, let me see. On the first album, I have to go back and listen to Born to Sing. But I did Lies. I just didn't have any, there were no heights in the song to be able to show my range, in other words. So it wasn't until it doesn't matter what you do, what you say. You know, if she doesn't love you. I didn't have a chance to, that part and I didn't have a chance to get up there on the first album. And me and Maxine kind of took a back seat on the first record. I know that Lies was the single after Hold On, but it didn't shine. We didn't shine on that. And then, you don't have to worry. So Hold On was Cindy and Terry. Lies was me. You Don't Have to Worry was Cindy by herself. And then Don't Let Go was Terry again. So Maxine was in the back. I was in the back. And then on the second album was like, yes, we're singing lead on the first single. And we didn't even mean to do it like that. It was just that that's the single that they chose to go with first. So just like Hold On was the first single for Cindy and Terry, Never Gonna Get It was the first single for me and Max. And it just worked. It worked. Yeah.
Amazing. I thought that whole album was just pure genius because and the talking in between and it just made me laugh so much. I'm not sure if it was Give It Up, Turn It Loose, and they're like,
oh my gosh, just give us just whatever. It's Kevin. No, it's not Kevin.
Like
Kevin Swahili. Oh, Kevin Swahili. I knew it.
He's not Cootie. He's not seeing Ronika right now.
It's Ronika. Who's Ronika? How do you know?
Was it Tanika?
Because when she first said he's seen Shanika Renee, I was like, he's not seeing no Shanika Renee. And then yes, he is seeing Shanika Renee. And then I said, how do you know? Wait a minute. So wait, do you know something that I don't? It was funny how I reacted to her after she said it. First I said, no, he's not seeing her. Wait a minute. How do you know? It was like that.
I mean, it was so funny.
It was cute. It was cute. Exactly.
Yesterday was genius, and then Free Your Mind was just on another level. Like,
it was on another level. Yes.
Doing the catwalk and the visuals and the vocals, like
exactly.
And that sound I hadn't heard from you guys up until that.
Right.
I thought,
leave his butt alone.
Like, wow.
Exactly.
And it was just so amazing. Like,
it was Free Your Mind. When we started recording it, our producers asked us what we thought prejudice was, so each of us wrote down our idea of prejudice. So when we're singing our verses,
all right, like to hear it. Here it goes.
Like wrote a song about it. Like to hear it. Here it goes. Free your mind.
Quick, just a quick thing. They give you a time limit on Instagram Live, and then they cut you off.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. So you think is our time almost up?
No, if that happens, are you okay to come right back into it?
Yes, I can. Absolutely. I'll find you and come back in.
Yeah. So
so for Free Your Mind though, it was rock and roll to me. I just thought what an amazing thing for our producers, black men, to take a huge chance in doing a song like that. Like out of nowhere on this R&B album, here comes Free Your Mind out of nowhere. Whoa, what a genius idea, and what a huge chance they took to make sure that this R&B group did a song like Free Your Mind. Like, I just thought that was really gutsy, and I was proud of them. I was proud of us.
So that album, I think I would say that is your the best album, because there's obviously, I'd say En Vogue only released 3 albums. That's my opinion. No shit, nothing like that.
Right.
Nothing, because I'm actually, no, that's a lie. I am a little bit shady.
Not at all. I haven't seen that from you, Tarloke. I haven't seen that. But if that, we're all capable when we're with our friends sitting around talking about stuff. We're all capable of throwing a little bit of shade. But you're not overtly nasty. And there are some people out there that are overtly nasty.
One of my top 5 favorite all-time ever En Vogue songs is "Giving Him Something He Can Feel."
Yes, Masterpiece Theater was a great album, Ketty. Yes, you're absolutely right. What a Man was amazing too. Yes. What did you say, Tarloke? I'm sorry, because I'm answering questions.
No, I just said that one of my top all-time favorite songs of yours is "Giving Him Something He Can Feel."
Giving Him Something He Can Feel.
And Give It Up, Turn It Loose. I mean, Give It Up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That is where
Baby girl.
In love with En Vogue when I heard "Give It Up, Turn It Loose."
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like harmonies, it was just so beautiful.
It was sassy. I love Maxine's voice on there. She has this warm tone about her voice that I have always loved. Maxine has a Stephanie Mills-esque type sound. And we would anytime Stephanie Mills would be on the radio, we would make Maxine sing it if we were in the car going to the hotel or in the car on our way to the venue to do a show. We would be like, Max, sing it, you know. What's it? We would make her sing everything. And it was always her singing Stephanie Mills stuff on the radio. So when she did Baby Girl, Unfair But True, she just sounds so great. I love her voice on that. I love her voice on Runaway Love in the beginning. Are you ready to roll? I can't even go as low as her. Funky Divas with a cool like stroll.
Oh, that song. I'm telling you, my all-time favorite En Vogue song is Runaway Love.
Runaway Love! Really?
No, I don't know. I probably put in my top 5 the songs that people wouldn't expect.
Right.
But you don't have to worry. That's one of them. And Giving Him Something He Can Feel.
Yes.
For your mind, that's an obvious one.
Right, exactly. But you like the cuts on the album that weren't really released or went to #1 hits. You know what I mean? You like the ones that are not the #1s as much. Because Give It Up, Turn It Loose wasn't a #1 hit. Runaway Love wasn't a hit at all. I don't think it hit #1.
I think it was top 60 in the UK, something like that.
Okay, but
I still loved it. I thought.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, it was genius.
Everything from the music to the vocal to the visuals, it was just perfect.
Take me higher. Take me higher.
Take me higher.
It's too early to do it. Higher. I know you can do it. Higher. Take me.
And
higher.
You guys, I mean, I don't know what you were thinking at that time. Okay, we've made it. We're big.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You know, and the album sold something like 5 times more than the first one. Something like that.
Which one?
I'm sure Funky Diva sold something like about 3 or 4 or 5 times more than
it did. Yeah, the first album, I think, went 8 times platinum. And then the second album we sold 28 million records. So I don't know how that equals out. I don't know what it means. It's a lot of money and we didn't make any of it.
Then,
but huge hits, yes.
Yeah. We were talking about theme tunes the other day and you did do the theme tune to Rock.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
so you found it. Okay.
Yeah, it's on. I've got a performance of you guys doing it. There's a few different performances of you guys doing it.
Live your life today, not for tomorrow. Yes.
And I think it was the second. It was 3 seasons. I think yours was the second half of the amount. Halfway through it, it was that one. And obviously, classic being Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Cooper. Yeah, I forgot how it goes. I can't hear it in my head, but Cooper.
He's just so fine.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm shy.
Desire. Somebody said Desire too. That was a great song. Hey, it was very sexy. Yeah, I loved it. Kind of a reggae feel.
Did you kind of like your sexuality, you obviously mentioned that in the beginning, you were a bit uncomfortable. Were you more comfortable by that point?
No, that was on the first album too, I think. I think Desire was on.
No, I mean, I was going back to Runaway Love right that
Oh,
point.
cool. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. I was much more awake at that time and not so into the church and the ways that they want to teach us about stuff to condition our brains to think a certain way. I had a mind of my own by then. And I started I was always feisty as a young lady. I was very feisty, 16, 15, 14 years old. But I didn't know myself as well. And by the time Runaway Love came out, I knew who I was. And it's gotten more and more over the years. As we grow, we know more about ourselves. Life just teaches us lessons, you know, so, yeah.
And obviously, people have already mentioned What a Man, and I feel like your group's creative peak, Don't Let Go.
You think that we peaked at Don't Let Go?
No, and then it was going to go, it would have gone on from there, up and up and up and up. But at that point, I think that was your best thing. Obviously, if things had been different, then I think you would have gone on and up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such a spectacular song.
It was amazing. That was our biggest hit, Tarloke, actually, to this day. That was our biggest hit. Yeah. Thank you.
That's the one that, one of the ones that people recognize. They know that song. I think it hung around in the top 10 in the UK for a little while. I think it got to number 5, but back then that was good. That was practically like getting number 1.
Wow.
And
see,
you know, to get.
I thought it was number 1 overseas as well. I thought it was in the UK. I thought it was number 1 too. But
it would have been probably would have been in a few places, but it got to number 5.
Number 5. That's great too. That's great.
Because back then that was purely sales. Because now the charts are almost unrecognizable.
Exactly. I don't even know. I can't even begin. I don't know if streaming is on there. That's a whole different thing that we didn't have at that time. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going on now. Digital sales and all those things are totally different than when we were doing our things. So I don't know. YouTube kind of runs it now. YouTube is the new MTV. It's the new, visual for the world.
I think Free Your Mind has got something like 143 million views on
wow.
YouTube. You know.
Oh my God.
Epic.
Wow. No, I wasn't on Riddle, you guys. I keep saying that I was on Riddle. I was not on Riddle. Cindy, Terry, and Maxine did that.
Yeah.
That was on the Masterpiece Theater album? No, the EV3 album. Yeah, so I wasn't on that.
So,
no, Masterpiece Theater.
A lot of rumors, a lot of Dawn said this, Dawn did this, and maybe it was something else. I don't know. But when you went into EV3, you were almost done recording the album, and you were called into a meeting. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about what went down in that meeting?
It was a lot of BS that went down in that meeting. Yes, it was. We have to go back a little bit to lead up to that, because it wasn't just that meeting that happened. Things happened prior to that meeting. Since Terry was offered a solo album by our label, Sylvia Rohn offered her a solo album. We were about to renegotiate our contract, and the 4 of us, Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and myself, had agreed that we were not going to go in and until they renegotiated our contract. We're not going to sing a note until they change our contract, because we had gone in for the first album, Born to Sing. The terms were what they were, because that's all we could get at the time. We were a new group, so we had to abide by what those terms were. The second album, we went in for the same terms that we did the first album. Now, the first album was, $5 million by the time we started the second album? So whenever you go platinum or you sell 1 million copies of an album, you're supposed to go in and you tear up that old contract and go in and renegotiate for new terms. And we hadn't done that. So under the second album, we went in under the same terms as the first album to do the second album, Born to Sing. And that album sold more than the first. So we weren't making any money. It was still 2 pennies a record, like it was on the first album. 2 pennies a record. For the,
I heard that.
I
saw you say that in an interview, and I was like, is that 2 pennies per album sold?
Yes.
How?
2 pennies. 2 pennies for Cindy, 2 pennies for Maxine, 2 pennies for Terry, 2 pennies for Dawn. because that was the deal that we signed. It's what they call a dinosaur deal. We you know, when you first go in, you don't have any negotiating power because you're brand new. Nobody knows you yet. So you just got to take what you're given, or you don't sign the contract at all. I'm writing about that part of my book right now.
Yeah.
You either take the deal that you're offered, you have no bargaining power. You have no negotiating power. You have no leverage whatsoever because you haven't proven yourself to the world.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are. So you take what you get and you deal with it. But once you sell 1 million copies, like I said, of that first album, we should have torn that contract up and went in for it and renegotiated for better terms. And we never did that. Now, our manager was Denny and Tommy's manager, Denzel Foster, Thomas McElroy. They had the same manager as us.
Yeah.
So there was what they call a huge conflict of interest in the very beginning. And
did you have the same attorney? They had the same attorney?
No, we had a different attorney, and he tried to tell us the truth, but we didn't want to hear it because it's so weird that now that I'm writing my book, I have time to think about what were we thinking in the very beginning. How was I thinking back then? And what I thought was, I'm so green, and I'm wearing green today, but I was so green to think that Denny and Tommy really cared about us, that we were family to them, because that's what Denny used to tell us. You know, y'all are like my little sisters, and we love y'all, and everything's going to be okay. And it's like, oh my God. He started dating Terry, and Terry started having thoughts of, I don't agree with the group. I'm over here with my man. So you guys do what you need to do for the group, and you can make whatever decisions you want. I don't agree.
Do you think that was, somebody commented on it a while back, do you think that was a purposeful thing on his part to date one of the girls to kind of divide and conquer? Do you think?
But that would have been stupid, because if he doesn't have Maxine, if he doesn't have Terry in the group with us,
yeah,
she can't renegotiate for better terms so that they won't get a better deal either. Because Denny and Tommy's deal was contingent on what was right for us as well. If you keep your artist happy, if the other 3 girls can't renegotiate without Terry. In other words, if you got Terry over here with you because you're Denny and you have her over here isolated by herself, then we can't negotiate a deal with Cindy, Terry, and myself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cindy, Maxine, and myself. Because Terry's over here by herself. Just got to do it like this. Then the 3 of us, Maxine, Dawn, and Cindy, cannot renegotiate a contract without her.
Yeah.
We can't do that because we didn't sign as 3. We signed as 4. And Terry's included. So if Terry's not there, the record company's going to be like, we can't talk to any of y'all until Terry's back.
Yeah.
We didn't sign a deal with the 3 girls. We signed a deal with the 4. So I don't think it was wise for Denny might have been telling Terry, hey, you know, I love you, and what we got in the bed together and what we got on the side as a relationship is our thing. But you got to make decisions with your girls, because that's where the bread and butter is. You have to make sure you stand by their side, because he may have been telling her that. I don't know. I know he told Maxine, she had called him one time, and he was like, you guys don't have a group. Maxine said they talked for almost 6 hours or more. You don't have a group. Dawn is crazy. That's what he wanted to make everybody think. Dawn is crazy, because I was speaking up. I was talking and saying things that they didn't need to hear. And so Dawn is crazy. I got Terry in my back pocket. Cindy rides the fence. She doesn't know which way to go. And you're by yourself, Maxine. So you don't have a group. There is no group. There's no group.
Wow.
So she was like, oh my God, there isn't. And by the time he like drilled it into her head, Dawn is crazy because Dawn speaks the fuck up. I'm sorry, Tarloke, but I curse.
Okay.
But Dawn speaks up, and I was the whistleblower. I was the one who was wide awake saying, Maxine, we need to do this, and we need to get the other girls on board because we need to renegotiate. So getting back to that meeting that we had, when Sylvia Rohn came to me and said, Dawn, Terry's done her solo album and she's getting ready to go on the road and promote it. And she's done a video and all of that stuff. Do you want to do a solo album as well? Now that was divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Terry's out here doing her thing. Do you want to do it too? And I was like, sure. Because by then it was what, 6 months, maybe 8 months. And I was like, the bank is calling. I don't have a way to make my house note. And Cindy and Maxine and I couldn't make a decision as to what we wanted to do. Again, we can't make a move without Terry. The three of us can't move without her. We need her in here. So while Terry's on the road doing her thing, I'm going to end up losing my house. So I decided to do that solo album as well. And it was really Sylvia Rone's way of dividing and conquering. Because she had me and Terry over here, and she had Cindy and Maxine over here.
Is it true that she slapped a contract down on the table and said, take it or leave it?
I don't remember that happening.
Like
not quite like that.
A 2-year contract or something like that. Did I read that?
Oh yeah. So after I was working on my solo album. She came in the middle of that and said, "Okay, Dawn." She called me at home and said, "Okay, so we're gonna stop your album right now. I know you're working on it and you're in the studio, and that's really cute.
No.
But we're gonna do the En Vogue album. What will be the En Vogue 4 album, number 4?
EV4, yeah.
And I was like, because we had done, Born to Sing, Funky Divas, and then Runaway Love album. Now this will be the 4th album. I was like, no. See, you mess with the wrong one, and I am not going to be fooled with like this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to let me go as a solo artist. I'll stay in the group because En Vogue is my bread and butter. That's where I got my start. I love the group. I love En Vogue. I love being a part of a group. But if you took Terry's album seriously and you kept her in the group, why? So because I did that and I called her out, I called Sylvia Rone out on the phone. I was a little too smart for her taste, and I held her accountable for something that she gave her word on. I made her keep her word. You're going to do my solo album, or you're going to let me go as a solo artist. And she did it. She let me go. And I stayed in the group, so I ended up finishing that Runaway Love. I'm sorry. That
EV4 or 3.
EV3 album, yeah, what became EV3 album. And I was in the studio every day, but Sylvia was pissed at me because I slighted her. I outsmarted her. And she's like, who is this bitch that what? And so she wanted to teach me a lesson. So she came to that meeting. It was supposed to be a creative meeting after we were all, 3 or 4 songs away from the rest of the album being finished.
Yeah.
We had done Right Direction. Gone Too Long. Of course. One more time.
Stunning song, by the way.
What song?
Too Gone Too Long.
Too Gone Too. Oh, really? Okay. Just Can't Stay Away. Was that on that album? Or that was on the first album? So anyway, we were almost done with the 4th album, and Sylvia had that meeting, and it was. Now I knew that I was doing a solo thing. The girls had no idea. Terry didn't tell us when she was going in the studio to do her solo album, so I didn't feel the need to tell them that I was doing it either. And I regret that because I wasn't honest with Cindy and Maxine, but neither was Terry. So if we didn't hold her accountable, why are you guys holding me accountable? But I should have just called, hey, Cindy, Maxine, I'm going to do a solo album. Do you guys mind? Because right now, you guys can't make a decision what you want to do, and I'm going to lose my freaking house. So I'm doing a solo album. That's what I should have done. And I wasn't honest with them. So I regret that, but that's the only part that I regret. Other than that, Terry did her own thing. I did my own thing. And then Sylvia came in and cut the whole thing off. I went in the studio with the girls. I continued to stay in the studio with them to record that EV4 album. And Sylvia came to LA. We all went to Terry's room to meet. And it was, Sylvia was saying, nobody can have any hidden agendas. The label is very behind you guys. Atlantic Records, it's been, discussed, and we are getting behind you guys. And I was like, hello. I raised my hand. I was like, so you guys are now behind us when you should have been. What happened with the 8 years prior? Where was the label in the past 8 years? You guys should have been behind us from day one. Now all of a sudden you want me to think that you're behind us now? And I thought this was supposed to be a creative meeting because we're almost done with the 4th album. So how did this turn into, now Dawn, you have a hidden agenda and we gotta, and so I did a solo album, but Terry did it first. Terry did a solo album. So why is it any different? Why is my album different than Terry doing a solo album? And Terry turned to me and she said, it just is, Dawn. It just is.
Wow.
Very indignant. And I was like, okay. It felt like I was talking to my mom, and I asked her if I could do something, and she said no. And I said, why? And she said, because I said so. That's Terry's attitude, was just like that. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So Terry did a solo album, and you guys are keeping her in the group. I did a solo album, and you guys are kicking me out because I was a threat. I see it now. I didn't see it then. I didn't have any clue about my worth. But as I've grown and gotten older, I could see that that was the problem. And if Dawn does a solo album, it's going to be the shit. If Terry does a solo album, you know.
Well, somebody commented on, I think it was your Envious video, which is on YouTube, and
yeah,
they said, and excuse the first part, it said, she says she seems to turn people off in the industry for some reason. Perhaps she doesn't. Weak-minded guys who seek to control women.
You got cut off.
Do you think
Tarloke,
that
was
cut
off?
Oh, sorry. Where did you get to?
I lost you on she seems to turn people off in the industry for some reason, and you got stuck.
Perhaps she doesn't play politics well, or is too strong for weak-minded guys who seek to control women.
That second part is exactly it.
Yeah, I think that's
because
what it was.
I always speak up. I've been speaking up for years. So Sylvia Rohn didn't like the fact that I slighted her. I just said that again. That was the real deal. But you guys are kicking me out of the group for doing the same exact thing that Terry did. You asked Terry if she wanted to do a solo album. She said yes. You gave her a budget to record. You gave her a budget for a video. You gave her a budget for a tour.
Yeah.
Me and Maxine and Cindy supported her. She did her first show at the Pantages in Los Angeles, and we were there. We supported her. We lifted her up. I came in and I said they asked me to do a solo album. I said yes. You gave me a little bit of a budget to record, and when I started doing too much, you were like, well, we're gonna pull the plug on your project. I did a song called Healing, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could hit notes like that. You're hitting whistle notes, like Mariah Carey notes, you know, and Minnie Riperton notes. And I was like, yeah. And she said, well, okay, I'm gonna give you 5,000 more. Here's a budget to go back in and finish. And then in that same month, she called me and she said, Dawn, we're going to pull the plug on your album. For now, we're going to put it on the back burner. And I was like, no, you won't. You played games with me. You put Terry's whack-ass... You put Terry's album out. I was going to say something mean, but, you know, it was all in the press. The press said the same thing about her solo album. So I'm not saying anything that's not nice.
The album failed, basically.
It did, but so did mine. Mine was because the record label that signed me, the CEO of the company, was embezzling money. So it was QVC Home Shopping Club. There's a TV show that comes on TV, and they wanted to get into the music business. So it was Q Records, like Q Home Shopping Club. And 9/11 had just happened. So that was a major, everything shut down. Of course, it was the world. And then the CEO of it. So it wasn't like my album failed because it wasn't a good album. It failed because it was the wrong time.
A good album. Envious kind of, well, it was obviously years later, kind of gave me shades of Gwen Stefani in a way.
Wow! Oh my God!
That kind of, I can't remember which song it is, but it had that kind of vibe. Obviously, it had R&B touch.
The one that she did with Eve.
Something, yeah, it was similar, not the same. And
yeah, exactly.
It had a similar kind of vibe. It was so catchy.
It took a while to get me here, and I'm gonna take my time. Don't fight that good shit in your ear. That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
exactly.
A great book. It was a lovely video. You know.
Thank you, Sean.
The chorus, it's such a good song.
And
I was interesting.
Blow Your Mind. Blow Your Mind is the name of the song.
Yeah, looking at the lyrics. And I find these lyrics interesting. I'm wondering, were they about anybody in particular?
Well,
were they?
Well, if the shoe fits, if the stilettos fit, wear them, you guys. Yes, it was. It was definitely about Lucy Pearl and En Vogue. It's like I had to clear my mind because you're envious. You know, some things just don't change. Started rumors spreading lies about me. Try to decompose my name. See, shady sisters, baby, watching me. I got shady niggas getting next to me. Yes, it was about them.
Yeah. So the shady was Sylvia Ronan, the producers.
No, it was Raphael. It was
Oh,
Lucy
that's
Pearl.
so you
Shady
guys.
niggas getting next to me. It was guys. So shady sisters, shady women. I got shady niggas. Yeah, it was about Lucy Pearl and En Vogue.
So how with what happened? I don't know the full lowdown on what happened with Raphael. I know that you'd known each other for a very long time, and
Yep.
when he invited you into the group, he said there's not a lot of money, and you kind of okay, fine, at least I know, but
Right.
and it was like
Because I saw a bigger, I was offered a solo deal, and I could have went straight from En Vogue into my solo, deal with RCA, but I was too nervous to do that. I wasn't ready. I didn't think for that. It was too soon for me and Terry to actually do solo records. I think we should have waited. But we were trying to renegotiate our contract, so Sylvia Rowan threw those at us just to take us off our guard, to throw us off. It's like divide and conquer. They're trying to renegotiate. What can I do? Oh, I'll offer solo albums, right?
Yeah.
So it was just divide and conquer. But as far as my solo album was concerned, Envious was about them because it was a dig at them a little bit. Because again, Terry had done the same exact thing, and you held me accountable for something that you never held Terry accountable for. You punished me for doing a solo album, but you didn't punish Terry for doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I just don't understand to this day. I don't understand that. How unfair that whole thing is. Like, Terry did the same. She did it first, and you guys were not mad at her. Nobody kicked her out. Nobody called her out about it. Like, why did you do that?
Maybe that's because she had some inside support.
She had inside support, but they were stupid too, because this is about En Vogue. It was too soon for anybody to do. Now, within our contract, we had the right to do a solo album. Each of us had that. All of us had that within our contracts to do that if we wanted to, but they asked us first. And I mean, my thing is, if you had inside help, you sure didn't do a great job at the album. Like, if you're going to do it, come out like Beyonce and hit like that. You know what I mean? Come out. You had that kind of support. You had some inside support, like you're saying. Denny and Tommy were inside with her. So give her the best album possible so she can be successful, but she wasn't.
Yeah. She wouldn't expect groups to start doing solo albums after a sophomore album.
No, not right. Not yet. I think we should have done 4 albums before either of us. Again, it was divide and conquer. Sylvia Rowan knew what she was doing by coming to us like that.
So another verse in this song, it might be the bridge, but I tells them no, I'm trying to be all that I can be. And the funny thing, they keep on talking trash about me.
Yes.
That's basically from what you described, because you're labeled the troublemaker.
But they know nothing about me. They don't know about me. They just say what they can. Maxine admitted when I first came back to the group in 2009 that En Vogue was the reason that people think I'm crazy, because they put that out there. That people think that I left to go solo to be a diva because I was a diva. I was like, Maxine, that's really crazy, because if the press and the fans would think about it, Dawn left En Vogue and went to Lucy Pearl. I didn't leave and go solo.
No, you didn't.
So how can they think that I was being a diva? I went right back into another group. I didn't go solo first.
Yeah.
And Lucy Pearl was 99 and 2000. By 2000 was over. It was a one-off, a one-album deal. That's what it was initially from the beginning. And then in 2002, I did my solo album. So I went to Lucy Pearl first. I went to another group. So I just wish the press would have asked them about that. Wait a minute. Dawn did another group after En Vogue. She didn't go solo first. So all of these assumptions, they put all this stuff, they put it out there that I was crazy. And I am crazy. I wear that like a badge of honor, because you're not going to come in and we make all the money and you guys think that we're just supposed to keep our mouths shut. We're doing all the work. We're traveling the world and living out of suitcases and doing all this stuff and leaving our families and our homes, our apartments, I should say, to go out and make more money for you guys. And we're not becoming rich ourselves. Oh, yeah, I'm a fucking crazy bitch. I'm really crazy. I should have went postal, because I heard that Left Eye with TLC supposedly went into Clive Davis's office and took everything, like she knocked everything off the walls that belonged to you know, all of her platinum and 8 times platinum albums and all this stuff. She's like, we didn't make this money. That's ours. That's ours. That's ours. Take that down. She was pissed.
Yeah.
And the other girls were with her on that. So if she was in my group, I always said if Left Eye and I were in the same group together, En Vogue would be rich today.
Oh,
rich.
Yeah. You get groups like, it's not a fair example, but One Direction, let's say, they made 10 million each on one of their albums. So, yeah. Do you think it's partly to do with gender? Do you think, okay, we're just going to keep this women here, or do you think that's part of it, or is it just they were just greedy in general?
Because NSYNC was ripped off too. Lou Pearlman ripped them off as well. He's in prison. Because he did that to them as well. So they didn't make any money either. But it's very rare for white artists to not make money. You look at Claire, what's her name? Taylor Swift, she's making money. Garth Brooks, see, it depends on the deal. Because apparently, I don't know for sure, but Destiny's Child supposedly made money too. They all were worth. Same thing with the Spice Girls. They were all worth like 50 million a piece by the time the whole thing fell apart. And it was the same way with Destiny's Child. So, you know, you had Matthew Knowles, who was like a father to all 3 of the girls, not just Beyonce. He made sure Michelle made money. He made sure, Kelly made money. And it wasn't just about, even though you could see that they always centered, in the pictures and the photos and in the videos, they always pretty much centered Beyonce. But of course, it was her parents who put the whole thing together. They put their house up for they put their mortgage up, you know, to get money and get a loan from the bank. They quit their jobs and did the work that it took. So it was only right that she had the focal attention. But at the same time, all the girls were rich by the time they disbanded and walked away from each other. So, Lou Pearlman passed away. Well, I'm not sad about it. It's kind of indicative. You know, I hate to see anyone go, but he also didn't live a life of a lot of honesty and integrity either. So that's kind of the road he chose.
So we touched on Lucy Pearl before, and when you broke up,
the Spice Girls, hold on, I'm sorry, Tarloke, save your question. The Spice Girls were not trying to hold a candle to us. The Spice Girls were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They had their own sound. In fact, that's one of my favorite albums. I'm like, all the colors of the world. Every boy and every girl.
Spice up your life.
Hold tight. That's my song. I love it.
That is a good song. That is a good song. I'm not ashamed to admit.
Spice up your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I was a Spice Girls fan. I like all kinds of genres, so
yes.
I think I even have a Lynyrd Skynyrd album somewhere.
Oh my God, me too. Well, you see, I'm a Beatles fan and I grew up with all that music, but I don't think any of the groups were trying to be like En Vogue. I think, as with anything, if you have a new Coca-Cola brand, Coca-Cola is the brand, right?
Yeah. So
all these other soda companies want the same reaction to their products, so they're going to come with their own Coke, RC Cola, Pepsi. Yeah. Everybody's going to come and try to match what they've done because they want that same success. So there's a girl group out. Their names are Dawn and Cindy and Terry Maxine. En Vogue, we're going to do the same thing and try to copy that in their own way. So TLC had their own sound. They were the female version of, BBD. So they had the baggy jeans and the baggy look and all that. They weren't trying to be like En Vogue. Brownstone, Jade, some of them would harmonize and try to harmonize like us. But go away, boy. Yes, my love won't hurt you.
And
yeah.
Phony say for Sia, Terry, Cindy, and Mona have beautiful voices. You know, I think they sound like a different band.
They don't sound like us. It's not the same.
Sound like karaoke, but I think that somebody said they sound like they're doing karaoke, but you know, this is the no shade room. Well, limited shade.
You know what I say? I say people are honest, and that's how they feel. And if they feel like that's being shade, that's it.
Well, the thing about music is so emotive. Like it affects you. Like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like your songs. You have so many passionate fans. That must warm your heart to know that people are so emotionally connected to.
They love us. Yes, they love us so much. It's like we made a huge impact worldwide. And I don't take it for granted at all. So the passion that the fans feel, I remember us being in a meeting one time. This is probably in 2009, because that whole year we stayed together to tour the States, and we toured overseas as well. China, you talked about that when I first got on. China, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Paris, London.
Somebody telling you you've apparently somebody's telling you you've got lipstick on your teeth. I can't.
I do. Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you. How can I see that? So we toured the world, and then we came back here, and the meetings that we had 3 deals on the table. One was Sony. One was Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was the best deal to me. And then another one was Roughtown Records. And when we got to the Sony meeting, I was talking so much as a fan of En Vogue that they were like, oh my God, Dawn, you are En Vogue's biggest fan. One of the CEOs that we were meeting with, A&R guys that we were meeting with. And I said, you're absolutely right. Because we are the best that ever did it. He was like, oh my God. Because I was very adamant about it. I'm like, it's time for us to get paid. It's time for us to get what we deserve. And it's time, it's time, it's time. And what did the girls do? They chose, of the 3 deals, they chose the Roughtown deal, the least of the 3.
Wow.
And again, I'm the one who looks like Dawn's out again. Dawn doesn't agree with the other girls. Dawn is being disobedient. Dawn is doing her own thing. She's being a diva. No, Dawn is smart. And she looked at the contract that Roughtown was offering. And in the first paragraph is about the formalities, what they're called and what we're called. They say, how is it put? From here on out, from here in, we will call the group. Instead of En Vogue, we'll say group. And we'll call Roughtown or whatever the label, and all the formalities. And then maybe the 2nd to 3rd paragraph down, it tells us, it stipulates how much we're going to get paid. And it said, each girl gets $10,000 upon signing, and another $40,000 if capital IF, the album is successful. Not when. It's like, if the album is successful, we'll give you the following $40,000. The girls thought, because they didn't read the contract, Maxine was on the phone with me, and we were all on the phone one day, and we're on the phone.
Look at my face. Look at my face.
Oh.
Like, what the heck?
Exactly. And the girls looked at the contract, and they, I guess, saw that they thought we were getting $50,000 up front. And I was like, you guys, first of all, think about it. This is not Sony. This is not a major label. Where do you think that this small independent label is going to get $50,000 for Terry, $50,000 for Max, $50,000 for Cindy, $50,000 for Dawn? That's $200,000, you guys. That's a lot of money. Where do you think that this independent label is going to get that kind of money from? I don't care, Dawn. And we were on, this is Maxine talking, we were on the phone with our managers at the time. We had different managers by then. And Maxine asked, Joe Mobilehill was our manager at the time, and she said, Joe, is it okay? Do you think we could take Dawn's, because she's very New York. She's very New Jersey. We could take Dawn's $50,000 and split it 3 ways because she doesn't want to sign, apparently. So I was like, you know what? You guys, I got to go, because we had been on the phone for 2 hours. I'm like, I got to go. I'm at the bank. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now. I got to go, because you guys have a lot to discuss. If you think that you're read the contract. I don't have to read it. Okay? You don't have to read it. That's why we're in trouble to this day, because we're not looking at what the real deal is. You're looking at what you want to see, but you're not looking at the truth. And sure enough, they signed that contract, and Tarloke, they got, I think it was a month later. I still have the email to this day. Maxine sent me an email saying, Dawn, you were absolutely right. This Roughtown deal is capital C-R-A-P. And we probably had to sue Renee to get out of it or something like that. And I was like, I tried to tell you, I got to pop my collar on that, Maxine, as they say, because I tried to say, we're not getting paid what you guys think we are. Read the contract. Hello. Wake up.
At what point was this? What point was it?
That was 2009.
Oh, right. Okay.
When I came back to the group. Yeah. So we had toured that whole year. Like I told them, if you guys just want $50,000, it doesn't take us long to get that. We each get a certain amount. 50,000, I'll just say it. We each get 5,000 per show. If we do 6 shows, we'll have $50,000 a piece. So why do you have to take this money from Roughtown right now? We deserve better. We are a big, huge group. We're still known and loved around the world, and we can make that money. We can call our own shots right now. It's the 4 originals coming back together. Cindy, Terry, Maxine, Dawn. The 4 originals. The world is loving us. We just came back from China, and you guys are getting ready to take the Roughtown deal? Oh my God. And they ended up signing it. And like I said, Maxine sent me that message, that email a month later to say how awful it was. But I mean, what can you do when people they don't listen to you? And it made it seem like Dawn was the odd man out, or the odd woman out, or the odd member out. And it made it seem like I was being difficult again. And I was like, no, I'm fucking smart. I'm smart as shit. And I know what I'm doing, and I know what I read. I know what I'm seeing in this contract, and I think it's stupid. The better deal on the table was Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, we met with them the first time Maxine was on. We had her on speakerphone because she was still living in Virginia at the time. So she was across the country. And she couldn't make the meeting, which was great. We had her on speakerphone. It was perfect. And the head of Wapner, I think Productions was the name of the production company we met with. And they were willing to give us whatever we wanted. His father created... That's why he had his own production company within the Warner Brothers lot. So not only do they do movies, but he had his own production company, Wapner Productions. And his father created the Jolly Green Giant and Pillsbury Doughboy and all these big, huge, iconic, things that are here in America. I don't know if you guys have it over there, but those, yeah, okay, so yeah, but the biggest thing was that Rodney Jerkins was willing to do our album at that time. He was in the room, Tarloke, he was there in the room. And Cindy, Terry, and myself were there in person. Maxine was on speakerphone. We had our manager with us, and then all those people that I mentioned. Yeah. Rodney Jerkins, the Wapner Productions people. And we could have called our own shots, whatever we wanted. The deal that we had, we could have structured our own way. They were willing to give us everything. They wanted to do a play based on En Vogue's life, which was like Dream Girls, but for real, because it was about us.
Not a Lifetime movie.
Not a Lifetime movie. No, this is a big production. Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Okay, yes. They wanted to do a play based on our lives, like Dream Girls, but for real. They wanted to do, so this would have been Broadway. Not off-Broadway, but Broadway.
So
they were offering us the world, and Cindy and Terry decided, yes, exactly. Yeah. Cindy and Terry decided that they didn't want to take that deal. Now, when we left the meeting that day, we all agreed that we were going to meet with Sony, we were going to meet with Roughtown, and then come back and tell them what we decide. We all agree in the room? We're all good with this? Maxine, you're good too on speakerphone? Yes, everybody says yes.
I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
That next week comes, and I'm on my way to the meeting, and I get a call that Cindy and Terry are not coming. So I'm like driving through Hollywood trying to get to the meeting, and I'm calling them, and they're not picking up the phone. I'm calling Cindy, call me back. I heard you guys are not coming. What are you doing? Why are you not answering the phone? Terry, what's going on? You guys are not calling me. Why aren't you picking up? Call me back. Maxine, they're not coming. What do you mean they're not coming? Oh my God. She's on the phone with me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get to this meeting and have to be the only one in person to tell these people who agreed to come here that they wasted their time today. So I get to the meeting. I'm in the parking lot, and I see our manager is parked like 5 cars over from mine. So I'm getting out of the car and trying to get my purse, and Maxine is calling at the same time. And he gets out of the car, and he just starts shaking his head. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So to me, it was very bad business. Everybody calls me the bitch and says that I'm so crazy and I'm this, that, and the other. But that was bad business. They didn't show up. Well, the thing is, if you don't like what someone is saying in a meeting, at least show up. You may not like what they're offering or what they have to say, and you can appease them right then and say, okay, you know what? We're going to think about it. We'll think about it and we'll get back to you. But don't agree to come to a meeting and just not show up. That's some other shit. It's so amateur. You know what I mean? That's not what a professional artist does. You just don't not show up. You show up. You keep your word, because last week we all agreed that we were going to come back next week, and here's next week, and you guys aren't here. So when we got in the meeting, Maxine was on speakerphone again. She even got to the meeting, and she's in Virginia. She's what, a 5-hour flight away from us. She's thousands of miles away from, so if she can make it, you guys should have been there as well. And then Rodney Jerkins took the time out that day to come back to a meeting again. A second meeting for En Vogue. Are you kidding me? He could have been sitting with Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber, for that matter, or Usher. You know what I mean? And Brandy. Because he's produced all of them. But instead, he chose to be with us. And you bitches didn't have the audacity to show up. Like, what? I still, to this day, because it wasn't publicized, it's not out there as like them being difficult and them being the bitches. But with me, it's still, Dawn is still a bitch. Dawn is still difficult. I am very difficult, and I am very much a bitch when it comes to getting paid, because everyone that I just mentioned, that's
not even being a bitch, though. That's just fighting for what you deserve.
Absolutely. But I am a bitch because I am not tolerant of the fact that we didn't make money. That 2 pennies a record, all 4 of us should have been bitches. All 4 of us should have had a problem with us not making money. I shouldn't have been the only one. I shouldn't be the only bitch. All of us should have been like, hold up. We have done all this work. We have traveled the globe, and we deserve to make money. Where's the money? Show us the money. It should be here. So I shouldn't have been the only one to be labeled that stuff. But when you're a woman in this business, you are labeled crazy if you speak up too much. You have too much mouth, and I will always do that.
And being black, if you get feisty, you're the angry black woman.
Oh God, yeah, you get labeled that as well, and that's fine. You guys can say all you want, but you will never say that Dawn was one to sit back and just take what was given to her. She just tolerated whatever they put her through. I never did that. I didn't badmouth the girls either, though, but I never sat back and just said, it's okay that we didn't get paid. Oh my God, it's, our producers are buying mansions, and it's all right that we're broke. I was never okay with that, ever.
So this is just, I've obviously I know some of this stuff, but
Bad girl of R&B, Tanya.
That was just it's always too much. But you seem you talk about being labeled the troublemaker. I think even when the Lucy Pearl thing finished, it's supposed to be a one-time thing and one-time project, and then in the papers, I think it was like Dawn Robinson has been kicked out of the group, or there's different things being said, but
it was it wasn't true because we were done with that year. It was done. So when we were in Amsterdam, we all celebrated. We had champagne with the band and our dancers, background singers, and everybody was there to celebrate that this was it. We had signed for 1 year. It was a 1-year deal. That was it. We didn't have any more than that. It was a 1-year deal.
So
one album.
Yeah.
And that was all it was supposed to be. So it was a shock to me when we got back from back to the States from Amsterdam that it was over, or that Raphael was going to get another girl, and that I had already been replaced. It was like, well, I don't know who Joy is, but I mean, I wish her the best. And the woman that did the interview with me, her name was Rose. No, Dawn, no. It'll come to me. She worked for the Rolling Stone magazine. Ruby. No. There's something else. But I had a talk pager back then. It was it was a text talk pager, because cell phones weren't really big yet in the 90s. Pager, yes. And it was like, Dawn, I hope you're okay. I just heard the news, and oh my God, can we talk to you? We need an interview. And I was like, what the hell? And I was running errands, so I had to figure out, get to a payphone and call. And then I was like, well, no, let me just get home. So it wasn't until late that night that I got home, and I called her, and she was like, I'm from Rolling Stone magazine, and I just wanted to know how you feel. I'm like, about? And she said, well, you've been replaced. Raphael got, Lucy Pearl got a new girl to replace you. And I was like, huh? We had just talked about not replacing any members. No guys, no girls, nobody. It was just that one project. It was special. We did it. It was ours. And
Yeah.
that's how we wanted to leave it. And so to find out that I was replaced, I was like, okay, I wish her the best. And she said, well, she's not so nice to you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, she wasn't very humble. I spoke with her yesterday. I did an interview with her, and she was very nasty towards you. And I said, well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not like that. But, you know, I wish her the best. And she said, well, she said that you are probably a bitch. Raphael and Ali know you better than her, and they told you weren't so nice, so you must be a bitch. And I was like, well, you know what? We didn't make any money. I lost my house. My house during the Lucy Pro project. So no, I wasn't very nice in the end, but I was still there. I was there even when I didn't have the money to be, even when I was in tears about losing my home. We were supposed to put the album out in June, and here it is November, and the album's still not out. I can't make money. The bank is calling me every day trying to take my house from me because I can't make my mortgage, and Raphael knew that. So who are you going to call a bitch? You know, you call me what you want. I've been called all this stuff because I didn't have the power of the press to talk to everybody and tell them what happened. And I really didn't feel the need to. It was embarrassing to lose my house. And we had already talked about not doing Lucy Pearl anymore. So when I got those calls and those texts, I mean, it was a shock. We weren't supposed to do that. We had agreed that that was it. Yeah. So call me what you want.
So, yeah, there seems to be in your history. I think there's a problem.
No, we can't do it again the right way. Somebody's saying Lucy Pearl can do it again the right way. No, can you work with somebody after you lose your house because of them? Can you honestly say that you want to be around somebody after you lose something that important? My credit is still affected. It's 10 years later.
I mean,
credit.
I believe in forgiveness. Yes,
I forgave them a long time ago, but I'm not going to work with them. You're not going to burn me twice because I know who you are. You showed me, if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That is Maya Angelou. So I'm not going to go back to Lucy Pearl now. What's
that saying? Is it fool me once?
That's your fault. Fool me twice, that's on me this time. Yeah, that's right, Tarloke.
Yeah, just forgiveness doesn't mean I don't know, you have trust. You'd have that trust. That trust wouldn't be there, and
yeah.
You know, if you did, then you'd want to make sure that the business was right from the moment go. You know,
yeah.
But, see, that's not going to happen.
Well, it could be the contract, but it would have to be on my own label. It would have to be different now because I know what I signed with Raphael, and I thought he'd have my back because he was like my brother, literally like my brother since 16 years old. We've known each other, so I felt like he would have my back. He wasn't going to stoop me. He wasn't going to run me over and fuck me over, and he did. So my trust in him was fatal for me. You know what I mean? It's like you can't always do that, thinking, oh, you know, they love me and it's going to be all right. And he would never do that to me in a heartbeat.
He did.
But it was to his detriment as well because he destroyed his own group. Like I told him, Lucy Pearl is on your label, Raphael. You have Pookie Records. That's your label. We're signed to you. You are winning right now. He came to my room in Amsterdam just before we disbanded, and he's like, Don, I don't know what to do. And I was like, Raphael, you're the head man in charge right now. And we are on your label, so you better figure this out because we are winning. Lucy Pearl is the shit. We have an amazing album. Make this work. Make it right. I'm here. I'm in the trenches. I had just lost my house before we came overseas. So I was upset. I was down. But right now, I get on stage every night, and nobody knows the truth about what happened to me. I'm not in the press over here in London or in the UK and Germany telling people about what happened to my house. I'm here with you. I'm here. I'm here. I got your back. But you got to have mine the same way. And he never did.
So in 2005, I read that you guys had signed with the firm, but then the terms didn't work out. There's the business again.
Oh, got it. Okay. En Vogue.
And yeah, and then obviously the same thing happened again in what you've already mentioned, 2008. But yes. Then you're on this 20-year reunion kind of tour to celebrate, and so I guess when people hear things like that on their dawns in the group again, there's that excitement. Things are gonna happen.
Yep.
And I mentioned this interview. I want to play a little bit of it. It's just behind me.
Okay.
When the body language things, basically you, Maxine, then Terry,
Cindy.
Terry, sitting on a couch, And
Yeah.
I just found it quite interesting how you were seated.
Mm-hmm.
So I may
That
be
wasn't.
thinking,
No, that was never. We never had a. Sometimes on the tour bus, we would not want to be around Maxine because she was always mean and mad at us for laughing too much. We were too immature for her, so we were like the little sisters that she couldn't stand.
Yeah.
So it wasn't mean,
Yeah.
but it was never a point where we wouldn't stand or sit next to each other. So that wasn't what you were reading on that at all.
No, that's not what I meant. But it's more
Okay.
how you were, where you were seated. But you watch the video and you tell me.
Okay, turn the camera a little bit so I can. Okay.
How many times have you been to Japan so far? Many times, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you notice, Cindy has her back to you.
I'm sure shopping.
Wow. Yeah.
And the way that Terry's sitting, she seems a bit uptight. Like
Yeah. Well, she's always uptight. That's always Terry.
But the expression on Cindy's face.
When I start talking,
Yeah.
I can't hear what I'm saying, so it may be because of what I'm saying.
You're just saying what Tokyo's like.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I found.
It could have been Tarloke. It could have been at that time they had just signed the contract for Rough Town, and I didn't sign with them, so maybe they were mad with me. When we literally, the guys that we signed to Rough Town were based out of Philadelphia, over in the States here. And so when we got to Philadelphia, I came down first in the hotel. And I came down into the lobby and I looked and I was like, oh my God, what are you guys doing here? And it was the guys that were getting ready to sign to Rough Town.
Right.
Why are you here? And oh my God. And they said, oh, we live here. We live in Philadelphia. And I was like, whoa, oh my God, you're coming to the show. That's cool. And they were like, yeah. And then there was a photographer that was standing off to my left. And he said, excuse me, Miss Robinson, you can come sit down here at the table. And I was like, what do you mean? In the lobby of the hotel, there was like this little room off to the side, and they were going to do a photo shoot over there for the fact that they had just signed a Rough Town. And I was like, no, I didn't sign the contract, so I'm not going to be in the pictures. And one of the guys, Renee, came over and he said, oh no, Dawn is not, she didn't sign, so she's not going to. So Cindy comes down next, and then Terry and Maxine come down together. And Maxine was like, Dawn, you know you can still sign with us. It's not too late. And I was like, yes, it is, Maxine. I'm not signing that contract, but thank you. And they all sat down at the table right in front of me as if they were slighting me for not signing. They were going to do a photo shoot, a mock signing of the contract. They had all the contracts sitting out at the table, 3 contracts, 3 pens, and they were doing a photo shoot. And Terry had her purse on her arm, and I was like, Terry, give me your purse. Your purse is on your arm. And she was like, oh, and she gave me her purse. I didn't want them to think that they were getting at me in any way. Like, it's okay that you guys sound Rough Town. You guys still don't see the depth in what you just did. We are together for the first time, all 4 of us, the 4 original members, and that's the deal you guys decided to take. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not signing it no matter what. I still told them. So when we got ready to get in the car, there was another town car that was sitting behind the town car that was waiting for us. And I was getting ready to get in first. And Cindy was like, Dawn, don't get in that car. You and I should ride in this one back here. And I was like, oh boy, Cindy, what are you trying to do, Cindy? And she's like, well, I just want to talk to you. So in the car on the way to the venue, we had a show. We were getting ready to do a show. And we were dressed in our costumes and everything. And Cindy was like, well, Dawn, it's a really good contract. It's a really good deal. And Renee's a good person. And I said, no, he's not. And no, I don't. I know he's probably a good person. But the deal that he put in front of us is not indicative of En Vogue. We deserve so much more. We are the shit. Come on. You guys don't see that? Like, you don't understand. We deserve so much better, Cindy. No, but Dawn, it's a really good deal. Okay, Cindy. You're not, and we were right around the corner from the venue, so by now we're pulling up. And I was like, Cindy, the deal is not a good one. And I don't care what you think. And I said, how much was your advance? How much of it? She said, we only got 10,000. I said, I told you that. You guys thought you were getting 50,000 a piece, 50,000 a piece, but no, you got 10. 10 grand a piece. Like, you didn't get that 50,000, and you're not getting that if the album isn't success. Well, I think it's going to be success. Okay, Cindy, well, you think it's going to be successful. Good luck. I hope you're right. I really do. I hope I was wrong about it all. But like I said, a month later, Maxine sent me so I think that body language that you're seeing in the clip right there is that Cindy was upset. She didn't usually get that kind of way. She wasn't really like that. Cindy wasn't nasty that way on purpose. She is now. I don't know why. But she wasn't like that. She would always try to be. Cindy is very, what they call aloof. She's
Right.
gonna eat her little. She brings in, you know, little vegetables and little baby carrots and celery, and she'll eat on munching on that stuff. And she's oblivious to business, so she wasn't really nasty to me. But she was, I think, afraid because she thought if she went against the record company that somehow we would be sued. And I was like, Maxine, I mean, Cindy, the only person getting sued out of this, if we were to sue the record company, the record label, those would be the only people that are getting sued because we deserve so much more. 2 pennies a record is highway robbery. That is like the biggest ripoff in the world, and we deserve so much more. So you're not going to get sued. We're not going to get, oh my God, you guys, we deserve so much more. So.
Do you think,
yeah.
somebody was asking, do you think that Terry kind of led Cindy a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Cindy has 4 kids and she's married, but she obeys. She obeys. She doesn't go outside the lines. Cindy likes everything to be strategic. She runs her life like that. She's always on time. She's always prompt. So if things are out of a line for Cindy, she gets a little bit like, oh, I can't, she can't deal with that. And I think that Terry is a big influence in her life. I think that Cindy doesn't listen to her own. When they first kicked me out of the group in '97 and I was out, I could have stayed because I could have done it their way or left. It was their way or the highway, and I took the highway. Again, 2 pennies a record after 8 years, it's a pretty shitty deal. I'm not going to stay and continue that being beat up that way. So Cindy and I saw each other at a party, and she had just had her 2nd child. Her baby was brand new. I think she was 6 weeks old, not even. And she had her out of the house for the first time. And our choreographer, Frank Gadsden, had a party at his house, at his mansion, because he got a mansion because of En Vogue. And he made it known very clearly to all of us that I got this mansion because of y'all. And I was like, what? We bought you a mansion too? Not that you don't deserve it, but oh my God, you're just the choreographer and you have a mansion too? Like, yes, I'm crazy because I cannot believe that even the choreographer, our producers, one of them had a mansion, and now our choreographer tells us that he has the same thing because of En Vogue, so I had to go to his party.
I'm laughing. It's not because it's funny.
Oh my God, it's just crazy. It's nuts, right? So right when I walked in the house, in the mansion, I'm sorry, Cindy was in the living room, in the great room. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in 2 years, and you're sitting right there. So we were a little awkward around each other, a little bit nervous, and I'm looking at the baby and talking small talk, and then I finally got out of the room, and I went into the kitchen. Through the kitchen, this lofty, huge, gigantic kitchen, it was the pool area, and that's where everybody was out partying. And I went through, and I was just standing up against the wall like, oh my God, that was Cindy. Ah! Oh my God. And her husband came over and asked my boyfriend, do you think Dawn will go to lunch with Cindy? She wants to talk to her. And he was like, of course. Like, Dawn is still the same. She loves Cindy. She loves the girls. She'll go. And sure enough, about a week later, we went to lunch with each other. And my mom had asked me, when you go to this meeting with Cindy, just ask her why. Why did you guys kick me out? Like, what happened? So Cindy had these 2 little trinkets that I gave her. And she had them wrapped in tissue paper. And she kept unrolling. The tissue paper was so long. I was like, oh my God. These 2 little bottles, they were like about this big. And you could put oil, like perfume in the bottles. And they had tops on them. One was a top that you could just dip. And the other top was a screw on top. And they were beautiful. Beautiful little crystal bottle. One was purple, and one was like a pinkish, multicolored. And anyway, she said, do you remember these? And she set them on the table, and I was like, no. And I picked them up, and I was like, wow, these are beautiful. And she said, you gave me these for my birthday when we first met. We were still recording the first album, Born to Sing, and I was like, oh my God, Cindy. She said, you know, and every day that I go into my bathroom, because she has a mansion too, because of her husband. She said, every day I go in the bathroom and I look at these because they're on my side of my bathroom. 2 separate bathrooms going in 2 different directions. Her bathroom is on the left, Glenn's bathroom is on the right. And she said, every day I look at these bottles. I'm brushing my teeth and thinking about you. And she said, and God just puts me, you're on my heart every single day. 2 years now you've been gone. And every day I think of you and I cry and I'm like, God, what do I do? And I wanted to meet with you now. I think it's the perfect time. And I said, well, Cindy, my mom asked me to ask you. I felt like a little kid, but I was like, I want to know too, though. Why didn't you guys have my back? Why did you why didn't you have my back? You knew that we were making only 2 pennies a record. Why didn't you have my back? And she said, Dawn, we knew that you were right about everything that you were saying, but we were too afraid to go against you, against the label with you. We thought we were going to be sued. We thought it was going to be ugly, and we just decided it's better to stay with the label. Yeah, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people, that's why here in America, I don't know over in the UK if they have the same thing, but a lot of times at jobs, they have what they call a union, because the union speaks for the people. They have a union there too? Yeah. Exactly. So the union says we want higher wages. We want better health care for our kids. We want days off. We want to be off. We don't want, you know, it's like they speak for them. They want lower taxes. You guys are taxing us too much, you know. So there was nobody to speak for on our behalf except me. And even though we had managers and we had label heads, the label was for the label, the producers were for the producers, and we were for ourselves. And because we were too afraid to speak up, I was the only one saying, hey, there's a problem. That's why they had to get rid of me. The label was like, no, she's too much. Get her out of here.
So when you went to lunch with Cindy, was that before or after the reunion in 2019, the tour? Was that after then?
Oh, this was way before. Cindy had her second child. She's got 4 kids now.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, she's got 4
kids. So she was on her second baby. Yeah, that was right when, that was 2 years after they kicked me out. So that was 97, 98, 99. Right. Just before Lucy Pearl.
So I remember seeing this interview. I think it's called Private Sessions or something like that. Uh-huh. And it was done round about the, it must have been just before.
I would say 2008. That was just before we reunited in 2009. Yeah. So intermittently, I would come back for like, there was a show called Don't Forget the Lyrics. We did that together.
Yes, I saw that on YouTube earlier.
It was a lot of fun, yes. So fun. And we did some spot dates. We were doing spot dates. We did Alicia Keys. Let me see. You can see it during the daytime much better.
Oh, was this the on the BT Awards?
I'm sorry, you can't see it because there's a window open, so it's a glare on the glass. Yeah, the BET Awards. But so that Private Sessions was at that time.
Yeah, so there was discussion about the business, the underbelly of the music industry, and you know, are you surprised by this? And both Terry and Cindy said, "Oh no, we weren't surprised by it." So then I was watching that. Obviously, you've kind of pretty much answered it already. I was watching, and like, then why didn't you fight? You were aware of what the business is like, so why didn't you fight? But obviously, they were afraid.
They were afraid. Yeah,
they were afraid.
Sure. Well, Terry wasn't afraid so much as she had to have her man's back. Remember, I told you she was in a relationship with Denny. So it was more important for her to have his back and Tommy's back than it was for her. I did a song with Devante years ago, Devante from Jodeci. It never came out. I never even got it on the album. But it was a little bit rough. I was angry still. So this was probably, if I left in 97, left En Vogue in 97, 98, 99. I was just doing, you know, going to the studio and working with people. And no, this was for my solo album with Q Records. That's what it was. I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. Tarloke, I'm sorry. Oh my God, this was when I signed I was going to sign to Dr. Dre, but I ended up signing to Interscope directly. That's when it happened. Okay, I got to get my line straight, my timeline straight.
You got a book. You got a memo for your book. You know?
Exactly, right, yes. So I was in the studio with Devante, and we wrote a song called Prostitutes of the Industry. Sign on the dotted line and give your money to me. Because that's what prostitutes do. They do all the work all day long, and they go home and give their money to their pimp. I'd be damned if I'm going to do that line of work, I'm going to be my own boss, and I'm going to come home and keep the money in my pocket. You're not going to take my money? Take my money? Yeah. No. So yeah, we wrote that song together.
I love that. I love it when you say that. So good.
No, they can't take my money. So it was rough like that. Like, I couldn't understand why Cindy and Terry, like you just said, they didn't fight. They didn't want to stand up. Terry, I understand. But at the same time, what I don't respect now, I say this, but then I'm like, well, maybe Denny did tell her. You know, I know that we're in a relationship together and it's cool, but you also have a group and you got to have your girls' backs. You know what I mean? You gotta stick with Dawn, Cindy, and Terry, Dawn, Cindy, and Maxine, and have their backs. You know, and because he made sure that he did what he had to do to protect himself and his partner Tommy. Thomas McElroy, Denzel Foster, they protected each other. They were like that. But when it came to Terry and us, I was like, Terry, you stand alone or you stand with them. You don't have our backs.
So you tried, or you joined a group with Maxine, Heirs to the Throne.
They are crazy.
That didn't last for a long time, but then you went into R&B divas.
Yes.
Now, I did contemplate binge watching. This is for everyone's benefit because we've already had this conversation, but I did consider binge watching it. But then I remembered what it was like for you.
Yeah.
It's just seemed.
It was kind of yucky.
I think Kelly Price found it pretty hard too.
She did at first, but in the end, she still had those girls' backs. I couldn't understand that. To me, it was some bullshit. I didn't understand it because I had her back on the show. I really did. Even when they were telling me, production was like, well, no, all the girls are going to turn against Kelly. It was games. They just played games. And I was just like, wait a minute. Did you guys ask us to be on here because you wanted reality or you wanted reality?
I think they probably wanted to see black women fighting because that's entertaining.
Thank you. And it brings in more money. Like the producer told us, more money, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it brings in higher ratings, which is more money. I'm like, well, I told him, I said, my life is not a rating. My life is for real. Like, this is real life. I'm giving you real. This is a reality show. So don't call it that if it's not going to be reality. Call it relatable TV. Call it something else. But don't call it reality because I'm giving you that. And you don't want that. So, it
seems to be in these kind of shows. And I see it in the other R&B divas. You had like Selena Johnson and Nikki Gilbert, you know.
Yes.
And that was very painful. And then you see it in was it Basketball Wives? I do watch Basketball Wives and holding my hands up.
You do?
Because I'm in love with Evelyn Lozada. She's so beautiful. And
I see. So there's a reason you watch. I got you.
I like some of the stuff that they do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some good things on there, and obviously the same on, you know, Real Housewives of Atlanta and
exactly. Somebody's saying
Mick and all of that.
Somebody's saying that we fight enough as black women. We don't need to fight on the shows, and I agree. And I told them that before I signed. When I had my very first meeting was with what they call a showrunner. Her name is Robin Schneider. I will put her out on blast because she's the one who told me. Oh, she told me. She said, I told her I don't want to do a reality show because what you guys do with the characters, it won't be my life anymore. It'll be some other shit. I don't fight with women. I would disagree with my sister in the house when we were kids and we would fight and argue, but we wouldn't fight and argue. You know what I mean? We wouldn't go to blows with each other. I like my face. I don't want somebody to hit me with a glass and give me a scar because she threw a glass at me while we were at a bar or something. Because that has happened. And I remember there was a man on one of the shows and he took his own life. I forgot what reality show that was, but bless his heart. Like, come on, you guys really want us to fight like that? Like, because you guys think it's funny. But I said, remember when we first met, which was about 36 hours of footage ago, and 3 months ago, I told you guys when I first met with you all, I'm not one to fight. I don't like fighting. I'm a grown woman. I didn't fight in high school. I'm definitely not going to fight as a grown woman. Actually, I did fight. I had a couple fights in high school, but that's because they jumped on me and I had to fight. But I didn't like it. So I'm not about to start that at this age. And they were like, oh no, we want a great, clean show. We want to show a positive outlook on Black women who have been in the business and who are coming back. And Dawn, you're the only diva really here. Like, you can call yourself a diva because you were Funky Divas. And I was like, well, I like that. So cool. As long as you guys understand that I am not going to fight, I support them and they're going to support me, I'm down. And I went against my better judgment and signed. And as soon as I signed, they were like, ooh, we got you now. It was dirty. It was so vindictive. And they were clever at how they, if you react to another part of, say I'm meeting with Claudette or Kelly Price, I'm at her house and we're talking about how cold it is outside. And I say something like, ooh, I don't like this cold weather. They'll take that little part and say, I don't like, and they'll go off camera. So you don't see my face, but you hear my mouth say, I don't like Kelly Price, or I don't like Chante Moore. That's how, I can't explain it because they're good at it. They're clever. I'm not vindictive that way, so I can't explain how. That's why I keep saying, even about the president right now, as much as he's an asshole at certain things, there's certain stuff that I think that they do put words in his mouth to say stuff, and it's so crazy. So they're very clever. And I was like, okay, this whole reality show thing is not for me. I am not. My attorney hit them up and said, Dawn will not be returning to the set. She didn't sign this contract to be in a fight with anybody, to be boxing and going to blows with, Little Mo or anybody. So I didn't go back. They didn't have me back either, though. They didn't want, because they could have said, oh, no, we're not going to have that. We're going to have Dawn do her regular scenes, and we want her back on here. And they were like, fine. So I didn't hear from them for 4 months until the very last day. And then they had me film my last scene, which was, Dawn, so can you talk about what happened with you and Little Mo? And I was like, oh, so you mean to tell me when you guys were telling her to get in my face and fight me? That scene? Is that what you want me to talk about? Because I will. And they were like, well, Dawn, can you like do your neck like this and talk and say, girl, please, child, please. Can you do that? I was like, oh, so you want me to be the ghetto Black girl? That's what you want from me? I said, I do that when I'm with my friends, but I won't do that with you guys. And I didn't do it because they will show me, girl, child, bitch, what? That's what they wanted me to do. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Yep, they wanted me to be the Black girl.
It got worse after you left. Seriously, it got much worse after you left. I don't know if you know Stacey Francis.
I heard about they got Stacey Francis on there. I didn't know that.
The one that got slapped by Whitney Houston.
Supposedly, we weren't there to see that either.
I don't know. That's the shady side of me coming out.
No, you're not shady. But I mean, when they say stuff, it's like, unless you literally, even if you hear it out of someone's mouth, because like I said, they put words in my mouth all the time.
But it got super ugly in the third. It's even worse than the first, like you wouldn't believe. And
well, I heard that they turned on Chante Moore or something like that as well. They turned on her.
I like her.
I don't. She wasn't nice to me on the show. You can like her. That's up to you. She didn't do anything to you, so I understand. But I just didn't respect, like Kelly Price had a conversation with her off camera, and she said, "You are married, or you were married to a celebrity, Kenny Lattimore. He has a son. You guys have a son together who's 9 years old.
Right.
Your son's hero is his dad, Kenny Lattimore.
Right.
So whatever's going on between you and Kenny, you keep to yourself. You keep that between you and Kenny. You don't put that on blast. If Kenny's gay and he's in the closet, that's up to him to be in the closet. You don't blast him out like that, because when your son goes to school and his friends are like, your dad is gay, that looks bad on him, and he has to feel that at night when he goes to sleep. You know what I mean? So let his integrity stand as it is. You should never have gone on the show to say that stuff to the public. That wasn't your place. So that kind of stuff I don't respect when I see that with women or with anybody blasting somebody else out. Like, why? You don't have to. That's the messy bullshit. That's what I say. It's like, this reality show, I guess they had promised Chante Moore and Little Mo that they would get their own spin-off shows.
Right.
So that's why they were willing to do anything. And then Chante Moore came to my page after, and I was like, girl, we've been off this show for about 4 months now. and you're coming to my page. How old are you again? Like, don't you have children, Chante? Like, why are you coming to my page and acting like this? That was the show. And you're still, and you're Terry's best friend, but you're acting like this with me on my Twitter page. So I blocked her ass. I'm like, you're too fucking immature for me. Like, grow up. Grow up. Huh?
Was that Chante?
Chante, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
It was nasty. It was messy. It was unnecessary. Like, that was the show. Now we're off the show. We can still remain friends. Like, that should be. She's like, Dawn, can you really sing? Well, bitch, look at my hits, and you tell me if I can really sing. I got hits that I've proven myself.
Hey,
but you tried to get in Vogue, and you tried to replace me at one point, and it didn't work.
She did.
It didn't. Oh yeah, that's my shady.
Okay,
yep.
One more piece of shade, and I'm done on the shade.
Yes, Tarloke, you gotta be talking bad about people.
No, she had one. She had one hit in the UK. One.
Yeah. Well,
straight up, and it's a great song.
What's it called?
Straight Up.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember Shantae's Got a Man. I love that song, and
But yeah, she had one hit, and it was a very good one. It was a very good one.
Yeah.
And
then she had another hit. Her very first song over here. I forgot what it was called. Somebody will tell me. Slips Lemonade. You guys are stupid. I'm not being messy.
I don't have a cup of tea, but
Yvonne. Tarloke.
You know.
Hey, when you put it out there, because she was on Twitter in front of my fans, in front of everybody, it was public knowledge. You feel me? If I'm saying something about somebody that was privately told to me, that's being shady. It happened in front of the world. It was right there. I was like, Chante, don't bring this shit to my page. Don't bring this on social media. This was something that the show wanted us to do, and we're not on the show anymore. So let's support each other. Like, how old are you? That's what I told her. How old are you? Like, come on, grow up. And she was like, can you really sing? I was like, okay, bitch, I got hits. So you tell me, because you've never had as big a hit as En Vogue as me. So you tell me if I can sing. Why are you even asking that?
All the awards that you've got. I think it's a crime that you girls never got a Grammy, but that's by the by.
I know. We were nominated 7 times. Well, you know what we got? Where's it at?
Didn't you get 7 MTV Awards or something?
We got more than 7. We got the most out of any girl group ever in life. Ever. It's All Right. That's the name of her song. It's All Right. That was her first single that I remember. Beautiful song. So, I love that whole album.
So you had that. Then you had issues with the Christmas thing, the movie that came out.
Hell yeah, because the way that they tried to slate it or promote it was, and this is where Lifetime television, I guess, thought I wouldn't see it. And if I did, I wouldn't say anything. It's like, have you met me? This is Dawn. I'm going to speak up when I see stuff. And they slated it as En Vogue special, or however they called the show, or whatever it's going to be, Lifetime. It wasn't a biopic because it wasn't about our lives, but it was En Vogue's story or En Vogue's Christmas movie or something like that. And it had a picture of all 4 of us, Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and me. And it said, will the 4 original members put aside their differences, and come together and do this Lifetime entertainment movie? I don't know, because you guys never came to me and asked me to do anything. I didn't know anything about it. Neither did Maxine. But I can see that you're using my picture and you are advertising the 4 originals as if I'm coming back to the group. No. If you would have asked me, yes, because I've done things back with the group. I came back and I did, Don't Forget the Lyrics, and I did the Alicia Keys thing, and I've done a few things with the girls. So I would have gone back if you're going to pay me. But they weren't paying.
But from what I've heard, I haven't seen it. I don't really watch, those kind of movies. I do watch them around Christmas, like the cheesy Christmas films. What are you doing?
I'm covering my mouth so I don't see nothing.
No, from what you said, you wouldn't want your name attached. From what I've heard, you wouldn't want your name attached to anything.
It was awful. It was god awful. It was terrible. It really was.
You have seen it? I
have seen it. I saw a little bit of it, as much as I could stand. And because I thought it was going to be about our lives, so I wanted to see how they portray me. And it wasn't about our lives. It was Cindy had a family, and Terry was dating a white guy, or Ronan was dating a white guy, or something. So they had a mixed marriage conversation going, which I thought was really gutsy. I love that part, but I couldn't watch all of it. I just thought it was really bad. It was bad, and I didn't want my name attached to that either. Because, you know, Lifetime wasn't known for doing great biopics from what I saw. So the one that I did love, end up loving that they did, because they've gotten better, I should say. So probably got new writers, new production people. They did, no, actually the biopic with, what was the name of the group?
TLC?
No, I like that one. I did like that one.
I haven't seen it yet. I've got it.
I like that one. But I love the one that they did a biopic. But BET did it on New Edition.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I loved about that one was there was a scene with Ralph, I want to say. It was, sorry, Ralph Tresvant was getting married, and it was at his wedding, at his reception after his wedding. And I don't need Iyanla to help with nothing. She's gonna get cussed out too, because she can't fix us. There's no fixing. We have sat in a room, all four of us by ourselves, and the girls will not admit anything. Terry doesn't admit that her relationship with Denny is the reason that everybody fell apart. I'm the only one who speaks truth and says exactly what the fuck it is. And I'm not being mean. I'm not angry about it anymore. I'm so glad about that, because I was angry for many years. But the truth is the truth, and she doesn't admit it. So I get the blame for En Vogue breaking up. I get blamed for all of this stuff happening all these years, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. So the Lifetime movie, oh, so I loved the scene with Ralph. It was at Ralph's wedding reception. It was Ronnie DeVoe's wedding reception, and it was Ralph Tresvant at the table and Ricky Bell. And Ricky, I think, was telling him, he said, man, I was a mess for a while, and you kept the group together, and I'm so proud of you for that. And I thank you, because you could have done your own solo thing, and you could have left and done that. And I started crying because I thought, I got ostracized for doing the same thing that Terry did, solo album. I got ostracized, kicked to the curb, thrown under the bus because I did the same thing. And here he is thanking his brother for not leaving. And it's like, I would have stayed in the group as well if you guys hadn't kicked me out. Like, I had no choice, you know what I mean? So I just love how they depicted it. And when I talked to Ronnie is always so sweet to us. All of them are really nice. Bobby is always trying to get at me. He didn't care if I had a boyfriend or not. He was just, hey, what's up, girl? What's going on? Give me a number. What's up? And I would be like,
what was
Bobby!
Shamari like?
Huh?
What was Shamari like?
Who's Shamari?
Because she was
Who's
on
Shamari?
Shamari, isn't that Ronnie's wife? No?
Oh, I don't know. I've never met her. This is before they were married.
Oh, before, okay.
This is years ago. Years before any of them had kids, before Bobby and Whitney, all of that. Yeah.
Long time.
This is when Bobby was on his own. So anytime he would see me, he would be like, girl, what's up? And I'm like, that's my boyfriend. He's like, I don't care. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go, because you're just rude.
Very bold.
Because he was Bobby Brown. He's popping his collar too. So, yeah, there's so much stuff, Tarloke. It's really sad that a group of our caliber couldn't stay together or make it work. And it was unfortunate that Lucy Pearl was the same way. I trusted Raphael. I trusted a little too much. I'm embarrassed by that because I should have known better. I'm usually the one to look at the contracts and figure things out. And I didn't. Yeah. I looked at the contract for Lucy Pearl, but I wasn't so detailed with it. I didn't go through every single page. I didn't underline things and ask questions.
So Brian 0401, the interviewer, is not good.
That's Brian. That is Brian here in Vegas. He lives here in Vegas. Why isn't he good, Brian? Why? Because you're with Maxine right now?
All right. Apparently I'm not a good interviewer. I mean,
you're very good, Tarloke. Don't mind him, please. And if you want, you can block him. Because that's messy. He's very good. You're very good. I mean, but you're asking the right questions, and I'm telling the truth about shit, so he doesn't like it. That's all. We will ignore and proceed.
I mean, just to let everybody know, this is the first interview that I ever have done.
Yes, it is your first interview, but you still, no. You don't apologize for who you are. You don't apologize for what you're saying. The questions that you're asking are great.
Thank you.
And the answers that I'm giving are great. And he doesn't like it, so we'll just keep going.
Yeah, so there's a few little bits to go. So despite all of that stuff that had happened with the group, all the stuff with the 20th anniversary, the failed sort of, business meetings,
Attempt.
that sort of thing, you
Right.
still you came together with them one final time last year for the for Sylvia Rhone and the City of Hope Gala. So
Yes, he's a hater. Exactly, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm listening, Tarloke. I'm
that's
I'm
fine.
getting caught up. I'm getting black girl right now. I'm going black girl. I can't go black girl.
So why did you do that with the way that the group had treated you?
Which
and
one? I'm
how
sorry.
Sylvia treated you? Why did you?
I didn't want to do it. Maxine had asked. They asked me first, and I said no. Maxine
Right.
came back to me and said, Dawn, since we're doing the Funky Divas project that we were doing, this is last year, I think it would be smart for you to do this with me. It's a good look for us as Funky Divas. And we got to show these bitches that we're back. So and it's our anniversary, 30 years. So let's do this together. And I was like, okay, Max, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I didn't want to do it because, one, Sylvia Rhone didn't want to pay us. Are you kidding me? So we didn't get paid while we were in En Vogue. We still had 2 pennies a record, and you don't want to pay us again in 2019? Can somebody help me with this? Because I know when you do a charity, charities pay themselves. Everybody that does the charity gets paid. So why can't you pay En Vogue? Why can't you pay us what we're worth? Even if it was union scale. Union scale, I think, is about $500 a piece. You know, that's union scale within the industry that we're in. Union.
Then you'd feel respected, wouldn't you?
I would feel at least a little bit. Give us something. You know, we're doing this for free. And so I wasn't going to do it. And they got, in the interim, when I said no, they had gotten Rona to come in and do it. Because Sylvia made it very clear that she only wanted Dawn, Terry, Maxine, and Cindy. She didn't want Rona in there. She wanted the original group because that's the group that she put together in the very beginning. And that's why she wanted the original group. So I said no. She got Rona at that point to replace me. And Maxine came to me and said, Dawn, please, 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 can we do this together? And I was like, Max, okay, for you, I will do it. I'll do it. I understand what you're saying. It is a good look for us. I agree. Okay, I'll do it. It's going to be weird because we haven't seen them in 10 years. 10 freaking years, man. That's a long time to be away from each other. But okay, all right, I'll do it. And we were excited. We were very excited.
Yes, Dawn cannot be replaced, Yo-Yo. That's right.
Oh my God, I love you, whoever that is. Hi, Alana. So I did it, and the day before I was to get on the road because I told them I wanted to drive and bring my dog with me because I always bring my dog when I go anywhere that's close enough to drive. I usually bring him because he's getting older. I don't want to leave him home, and I don't want the responsibility to be on anybody else. So I bring him with me for the road. He's my road dog. he's my road dog. So the day before, I asked their manager, I told Maxine, I said, we need to have somebody film this. And I have a friend in Los Angeles, actually in Anaheim, outside of Los Angeles, about 45 minutes away from LA. And he can film it for us so we can document all of this. You know, we haven't seen the girls in 10 years. This is En Vogue getting back together for real. And we need to have this filmed. So I asked their manager. Maxine agreed. We agreed on getting it filmed. And I asked their manager if we could film it. And he said, sure. And then later that night, he called me back and he said, Dawn, when you get here tomorrow, you can't film. The girls are not happy with that. They feel like you guys need to get used to each other again. You haven't seen each other in a long time. You need rehearsals. And having a camera there is going to be a little weird. And I said, okay, I agree. I said, so what if we film the day of the show, the actual show? And he said, okay, I'll ask them. I'll find that out. And I'll get back to you. And I'm still waiting. And that was last year. I'm still waiting, Tarloke. He never answered me. Maxine asked him the same thing. And he said, Max, I'll let you know. And she's still waiting too.
Wow. So how was the experience?
But the thing is, though, the whole time that we were at rehearsal and the day of the show, we had sound check. Rona is filming and she's taking pictures the whole time. So is our choreographer. He was filming too for research. But he was still filming. So that means he got documentation of the whole. I wanted just the memories of this for us because this was me and Maxine. So there's something that I call a diva-mentary that I'm putting together. And I wanted that footage for us. But now that it's just me by myself again, I wanted the footage for us. This is me and Maxine were here and we're at rehearsal and it's just her and I, but the other girls are inside. We can't film them, but we're here. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Wait, we're in the trailer. Oh my God, we're so excited. Look at us, we're here. That's all I wanted. And Rona was taking pictures every single day. In fact, she did a boomerang on Instagram. I think it's called a boomerang, and where you come into shot, you leave the shot, and then you come in real quick. And excuse me, phone again. And each of us did that, Cindy and Terry included. Come on, you guys, get the phone, get the phone. Phone. Oh my God! Sorry. So they did not allow us to film, and I felt like we were work for hire. We were, you know, the newbies. When a new person comes in, they can't call any shots because they're new. You do as we say, and that's how I felt with them. You do what we tell you. Yeah, you guys helped us create En Vogue, but we're the ones who control the whole shit because we didn't leave the group. Well, Terry, technically, you did leave the group because you left the group in 1990. What was it? Oh, I have another interview coming up in 30 minutes. I'm glad I looked at my, 4 o'clock. I have another one. But she left the group first because she did a solo album. That was not an En Vogue album. That was a solo Terry album, so that means you left the group. You were not in En Vogue when you were in the group when you did that, but it wasn't the group that did that album. That was your solo album, sweetie. So you did technically leave the group. But yeah, it's been this way for a very long time, Tarloke, and I'm so happy now because I've been consistently saying the same thing since 1997, really 98, because I have. I've been saying the same thing. 2 pennies a record, being kicked out because I spoke up for what was wrong or what was right in the group, and they didn't like it. So I've been consistent, and I like that consistency. I've been saying the same thing for a very long time. It hasn't been, I haven't swayed from my conversation in all these years.
If with what you've learned, everything that's happened, if you could go back and talk to that 20-year-old or 18-year-old, however old you were at the time, girl, what would you say to yourself, or would you, what would you do? What would you say to that younger version of you?
That you are the shit. That you at the audition proved who you were that day, and you got to know your own worth because you are about to be. You got to get a team together, first of all, because you want to be who Beyonce became. She had a team when she left her group. She had the right avenues. She had the right money. Her father and mother made sure that they all made money in the group. So Michelle was well-to-do financially. I was going to say Left Eye. Michelle, huh?
Love Michelle.
Love Michelle, too. I do. I love
have
Michelle.
The albums. I love it.
I love Michelle. I love Beyonce, too. I love them all. But in order to be what she became, you need a team around you. It takes money. It takes the right avenues. It takes distribution. It takes all of that. And I didn't have that when I left the group. I listened to the wrong people. So I would tell myself, just slow down, get the right team together, and don't let them make you feel like you are less than just because you're the youngest one in the group. I remember being on the tour bus, and every time we would come out of, you're going to laugh, but we would have a VHS tape. We had a VHR on the back of the tour bus.
I had the Funky Divas VHS.
You did? Oh my gosh! Yeah. Wow. Well, we would change our clothes on the tour bus, and we would have like a 20-hour drive to the next city, or a 7-hour drive. So we would change our clothes and put on our pajamas, and we would watch our tape, and we would critique each other. Except they were only critiquing me. And after about we were on the MC Hammer tour, and after about maybe a good month of that, I got upset and I left out of the back lounge and I got in my bunk. And when you're in your bunk, you have to lay flat like this. You can't sit up, because if you do, you got the bunk above you and you'll hit your head. So I was laying down in my bunk on my pillow, and I was crying and upset, and I saw the door open. I had my curtain closed, but I saw Maxine walk by, and I was like, when she came back, I said, Maxine, come here for a second. And I opened my curtain, and she sat down. She said, what's up? I said, do you hear how you guys talk about me? Every single time we do a show, and every single time we critique our stuff, it's always about, look at Dawn's dance steps. Look at Dawn's, listen to her notes. Oh my God, Dawn sounds terrible. I said, do you think that you guys don't make any mistakes at all? That you guys are all perfect? And she's like, Oh my God. I said, yeah, because Terry has been singing Hold On since day one. And when she starts the song, she starts it in the wrong key every single time. But I never call her out about it. You guys don't call her out about it, but it's always about what Dawn does wrong. But when she starts the song, she'll start it like, win, or win, or too high or too low, but it's supposed to be win. That's the note. That's the note. But she always starts it in a different key. But do you guys call her out? Never. She's like, Dawn, say no more. Come with me. And we went to the back lounge, and she took the remote control from Terry's hand. And she said, we're turning this off. She turned it off, and she said, Cindy and Terry, we treat Dawn differently. We treat her different. Cindy was like, no, we don't. We don't treat her different. Max was like, yes, we do. We treat Dawn totally differently. When we critique, every single time we critique a show, we don't critique ourselves. We critique Dawn only. And we got to stop that. And I was like, exactly. Because I'm tired of it. Because Terry, you start the song like this, and you do this. And Cindy, you don't have the dance steps right every single time. And Maxine, you either. So we got to stop doing that. Because it's not fair to me. If you're going to critique, you got to critique everybody. Oh, look at my dance steps. I messed up. I'm Terry. Oh, I'm supposed to be over here, but I'm over here. I'm Cindy. Oh, I start the song in the wrong key because I'm Terry. We all have to critique each other.
Yeah.
It was always about just me, and I'm like, I'm tired of that shit. I know I'm the youngest one in the group, but just because I'm the baby, the younger sister, doesn't mean that I'm the only one who messes up. So it's been that thread carried through the years, and
yeah.
I speak up for it, and because I do that, you know, I'm a problem.
Very importantly, did you vote?
Yes, I did vote. Yes, I did vote.
How were your parents?
I don't like the fact that people were forcing people to vote. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. You don't have to. It's okay. Because nothing that happens with these presidents is going to be any different than the past. I gave Maxine a list of presidents maybe about February. I gave her a list of presidents that have been presidents since I was alive or been born. And none of those presidents ever kept their word on the things that they promised. Lower taxes, higher wages, better health care. Bullshit. They never, ever, ever, ever follow through. So I know that we have a crazy president. He's outspoken sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like there's something going on. There's something happening with this whole thing. And behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that I've heard is going on with him that he's trying to do, but he can't come out and say it to the public. So I'm in the middle. I don't come down on people's heads about who they vote for, or who. It's everybody's guess. We get a president in there, they're not going to see it. If we had a black president like we have with Obama, who didn't do anything for us, he had 8 years in office and never made any changes for blacks at all. And on his watch, there were a lot of black deaths. A lot of black men died. Trayvon Martin was the first one. That is a historic.
George Floyd.
No. George Floyd just died on this watch. I'm talking about with Obama.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. With Obama, it was Michael Brown, the guy that said he couldn't breathe, the first guy who said he couldn't breathe, and they choked him out and killed him right then on the street for selling cigarettes. Another man was running and got shot in the back for stealing cigarettes at a store or something like that. It's been crazy. So nothing better happened while we had a black president than is happening now. And I'm tired of the runaround. I'm tired of them manipulating our fears based on the news. I don't get political because I know that fans have to make decisions for themselves, but I have a point of view just like the rest of the world. And, you know, there's things on Biden, I call them blinding. There's things on blinding that he's done as well, talking about he doesn't want his kids to go to a school in a jungle, meaning he didn't want the schools to be integrated with black kids. Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking
about man.
It's pray.
It is. It's sick.
Pray. It's such a scary time. And
I tell people we have to go within, because anytime change has ever happened in society, it's when the people stood up. When women wanted to vote, they stood up and said they wanted the right to vote, and they fought for it and they got it. Except black women still took, I think, about 4 years later before we got the chance to still vote. Even then, we were looked at as the bottom of the totem pole, as we weren't important, you know, and it was white women that were voting and not us. So, you know, we have to stand up for ourselves. Chinese people come together within their community and they work it out. They got Chinatown, Little Russia, Russiatown. They got, you know, Japantown. They have small parts of sections of town where people come together as a race to make their thing work. little India. They have, you know, it's really crazy that we don't come together and do the same thing. And I don't know how that's going to happen. That's the only way change will exist. Even in Vietnam, it was the young kids who said, we don't want Viet Cong. We don't want to have that. We don't want Vietnam. They were doing sit-ins and, you know, talking about we want to end the Vietnam War. And they forced Nixon's hand. At that time, Nixon was the president. So, you know, a lot of things happen when the people come together. It is not about the president ever, ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of division. So hopefully the next few days or weeks will
Change.
What's going to happen. But yeah,
Exactly.
you know, I look forward to reading this. We didn't get to talk about your book, but obviously we know what it's going to contain to a certain point.
Well, after you read it, Tarloke, just have me back, and I want to talk about. I want to see your opinion. I want your opinion.
Well, I will give it.
Yes.
I'll definitely give it. I look forward to that. I just wanted to finish off by saying, you know, like I said, I've been a fan of yours since, well, the group, since I was maybe 12 years old. 13, I can't remember.
Okay, you make me feel so old.
No, we're not that far apart in age. You look younger than I do. Trust.
You were 12 though. I was 21.
Hey, there's a saying, right? Black don't crack, Asian don't raisin.
Ah! I love it. Oh, you know, that is so cute. I love that.
We started
Black don't
off
crack, Asians don't raisin.
Yes.
So you're Indian though, right? You're from India? Pakistani?
Yeah, India, from the southeast of England, but I've lived in
Well, you know,
a long time.
When I come back to London, you have to take me for the best native Indian food because you guys have the best.
I make the best Indian
you
food.
You do? Oh my God! What?
Come to Liverpool. I'll bake you a cake.
Okay. Do you make papadum? Papadum?
Don't do that.
Do you make onion bahi?
Bhajis.
Bhaji?
I can.
Do you make eggplant?
Don't do anything with eggplant.
No. Do you make paneer? Spinach paneer?
I can make saag aloo.
Saag aloo! Oh my gosh! Wow.
Butter chicken.
Wow! Oh my God.
But I'm glad. I started messaging you, I think, about 6 years ago.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
It's been a little while, and I just appreciate your replies. Obviously, it started off as a fan.
Yeah.
Thing,
exactly.
But I count you as a friend.
Well, you know, I do too, Tarloke, and I have to give you accolades because you have not been messy. You were never messy. You were never nasty.
Props.
You never sided just because Cindy and Terry are still in Vogue. You never sided with them or went against any of us, and I really appreciate that because a lot of times people are just like, Dawn, you're a bitch because you left the group. Well, if you were in the group, you'd be a bitch too, and you would have left as well. You have no idea what I've gone through, so people assume a lot of stuff, but they don't know what really happened. So I appreciate that you were very, I don't know, you just had integrity, and I appreciate that.
And yeah, I got you. You know, I'm gonna come and visit. I want to touch one of those discs. I can see those platinum discs back there.
Let me take you around the room real quick. So can you see that's Lucy Pearl?
Yes.
Can you see these?
Yes.
So my parents had a fire. I'm actually at their house right now. They had a fire, and you could see the outline where it's really puffy from the water and the fire. Yeah. But that's a plaque. I think that's a platinum album.
Wow.
One time, yeah. And then this is a gold album in Vogue. Gold single. I think that was a single. Another platinum album, My Lovin'. So that was Funky Diva's album. This is My Lovin'. Can you see? I know that the glare is on the... And then this is Hold On, platinum single, Hold On. Isn't that amazing?
And the cassette tapes.
And the cassette! You see the cassette there?
Yes.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? And then that's my solo shot from Vibe magazine. And then this is Alicia Keys on the end.
Wow.
Alicia Keys on the end. And this is when she asked us to do the Soul Train Awards. So this is that shot. The BET Awards in 2008.
Ooh, your connection's gone. she's gone. Thank you so much for the love, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime. I don't know. I think it was a connection or a call or something like that. But she's got another live coming up right after this one, so get onto that one. But tell her I said bye if you go back onto that one. Okay, bye.